Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
2 outs as Ward hits a fly ball to deep left center field. Johnson back at the wall, cannot make the catch. It stays in play. Ward on his way to third. Throw coming in from LeCastro. They're going to send him. Here's the relay towards the plate. It's on a bounce. Not in time. An inside the park home run wins the game. There goes Jose for third. Base hit right field. Here comes Jose. Book it. The Guardians take 3 out of 4 from Minnesota.
Fired out by Landeskog, and you can hear the cheers from the crowd here in Denver. Nelson Broshouse, star! The football is stepped to the defenseman, laid down, and the Avalanche take a 1-0 lead. Calming effect. Nylander coming up with a puck. Nylander in, scores! William Nylander in the opening minutes of the second period.
Thompson digging in defensively. 8 seconds. Brunson stops on a dime. Launches. Oh, yeah! Jalen Brunson buries it. Knicks lead by 3. The Brunson burner ignited.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
That's actually pretty good. How are we doing?
We're doing all right.
Yeah.
I can't decide how I feel about the Brunson burner.
I kind of liked it.
It was all right.
But I like him, though. I think he gets a little bit of unnecessary. Shane, are you an Eagle guy?
Iron Eagle.
Man, it's too early, Shane.
So yes or no question, Shane?
Yeah, he's fine.
I like him.
I don't mind him.
I think people unnecessarily give him a hard time.
I think so too.
Brunson burner. Yeah, I don't mind the Brunson burner. But...
So you got to just be careful because you get into Jim Nantz territory in a hurry.
Yeah, well, Lord knows. I mean, I said some corny things,
So
but sometimes,
sometimes it works though. Like sometimes the corny thing is kind of the right thing to say.
Right.
So
right,
I get it.
Right.
I don't mind him going for it.
I don't know. I like him, but I don't.
So you know what I thought in that moment, actually?
Well, let me ask you. What did you think in that moment?
I'm so glad you asked, DB. Let me tell you.
Okay, I got you.
When I'm listening to that clip, I go, yeah, that probably would have been better with a bang. With the Mike Breen bang! Like that would have.
Are you a Breen guy?
He's done so many of Curry's iconic moments that
I like Breen too.
So I kind of it's the same reason I sort of will ride with Bob Costas a little bit because he called a lot of Jordan's iconic moments.
Is there anybody that you kind of like that it is famous to hate? If you say Romo, I will leave.
No, not Romo.
If you say Brady, I'm probably out.
I like Greg Olson.
So Greg Olson grew on me, but do you know why?
Because he's good at his job?
Not exactly.
Okay.
But because he's better than who he got bumped for.
Sure.
So I went back and got it, and he doesn't bother me. He talks a ton.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
So I like
Gio.
He's better than the people that you're right. He's definitely, and maybe that's why I kind of ride with him.
He shouldn't have gotten bumped.
He's definitely better than the guys.
Clear.
You know who?
Crystal. Shane.
Like light?
No, like the
chandelier.
His back page ad, friends. That's a good name.
Knicks lead by 3.
Isn't it? That sounds like
the Brunson burner.
It's the first thing I think of when.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like spend some time with Crystal
or Star
or Cinnamon.
No, they don't have to. They don't have to be a dancer. That's a little much.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes, yeah.
All right.
Which famously, has
and
never,
why do you have
has
to?
never been a thing for me.
Me either.
Ever.
Just not interested.
Yeah,
it's a weird dynamic.
Well, it's my personality. I don't want anything that everybody else can have access to.
That's true. Well, as soon as too many people like something, you're out.
So I have a good friend who shall remain nameless that I saw this weekend.
Yeah.
Just stumbled into him at the stadium. This dude used to tell me that I liked ugly people on purpose. I couldn't believe it. I was mortified. He swears by it. Is that when I was younger? It's not even that funny anymore.
No, it's not even that.
I don't need you to just chuckle and carry on.
It's just the nailing. It's not even that specific example. Just the nailing of your personality. That you know what I thought of immediately is there's some people Natasha's kind of like this, or that's why she married me. No, is that she likes like the ugly dog at the shelter because nobody else wants him.
Yeah.
And so there's like a little there's a little bit of that. That's why I was laughing.
I'd like for Mr. Dumas to know I felt like that was a little harsh.
so much for not naming him.
Sometimes he would just look at me and squint. And I'd be like, but she's so nice.
He's got really good personality.
It's like, yeah, bro. There's always daylight. Damn it.
You know who I kind of like that I don't think most people do?
Oh.
Testator.
I like
Joe
Oh
T.
my gosh.
I like Joe Testator a lot.
We already had our kumbaya moment already in the last 134 seconds, so I'm not gonna air dap you.
Yeah.
I like Tess too. My boxing fans hate on Tess.
That's why I like him.
I like Tess. They think he's too loud and hey, but I
like the excitement.
I like Tess.
And he's got the excitement, but he's better at his job than Gus Johnson.
And Tess, so funny you bring up old Gus Bus.
So I liked him longer than other people did, but he got to a point where I was over it.
So do you remember old school Gus first doing college basketball?
Yes.
So right now on my YouTube.
It was awesome when he first started.
So I went down the Vince Carter rabbit hole.
Yeah. When Gus Johnson first started, it was awesome.
And he has some tournament games from – man, Gus was nice.
He really was. And I stayed on the wagon for too long.
I mean, they're playing Greensboro and then opening the turn. I'm like, okay, Gus.
Dude, he was getting it.
But you know what? And I also remembered.
What's that?
Man, Carolina laid some eggs.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Losing
They had Weber State in like, what, 96? No, like 99.
Well, let's go Utah.
Yeah, Utah.
Arizona with Bramlett and those guys.
Yeah.
And I get it. That team was nice with Bibby and Dixon, but they played like horse poo-poo.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went down that rabbit hole. Man, Gus was all right.
When Gus was like locked in, and I think he got spread a little too thin, doing too much. But when Gus was locked in, he was really good.
Yeah, do you know why I went down the Vince Carter rabbit hole?
Why is it?
Because I feel like he's grossly underappreciated for how good of a pro he was.
Yeah, I have a little trouble with Vince.
I know you do, because you don't, unlike all the other honks that you glaze for, you don't appreciate his longevity and consistency.
No, I do actually.
He was incredible.
So here's where
a 24K guy.
Here's where I struggle with him. I don't know where to put him.
That's
because he was really good.
He doesn't need. I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
Because there's some people whose affinity for Vince probably outweighs his aptitude as a ball player.
He's in the Magic Johnson category for me.
In terms of just your favorites.
So, yeah, let's say if I live in, I won't give up all the neighborhoods, but he's in like the neighborhood over.
Okay. Yeah.
From Magic.
You. Yeah.
Magic. So there's a few that like you have to punch in the code of the gated community.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Magic. There's Roger Craig.
There's just Curry for me.
Reggie Bush is in that.
Oh, I didn't realize you were a big Reggie Bush guy.
Yeah, I love.
He's a pretty runner.
I
stylistically like very pretty runner.
I love him.
Yeah,
love him. Like, not hand holding type because that's super love, but like I would.
You give him the bro hug though for sure.
Yeah. I'm not giving him a little shoulder rub.
Can I pet that dog?
Can I get a little like Flan? Give me a little love touch.
Yeah, I did. And if Flan wasn't built like a drinking straw, I would have asked him for his shirt too. But there's no way I was getting in that.
He is a beanpole.
Man, I love him. Yeah, so there's just like a few people in that community.
And Carter's on the
yeah.
So like
and I've kicked a few people out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like
who got booted?
Terry Bradshaw.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I booted Terry. Lemieux is in the community.
Okay. He's in the gated section?
He's in the gated section. Troy Palmau is in the gated section.
Yeah.
Jack Lambert's in the gated section.
Lloyd?
Greg Lloyd would be my security. If you've ever seen Reacher, the second series, the second season,
with the big,
he would be the big guy.
Okay.
That you have to buzz in to get to Greg. Yeah, I love Greg Lloyd.
Yeah.
But Vince Carter is probably the most random of my
affinities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that random. Mello for you is more random than Carter because at least Vince
Carter
has
played,
UNC.
Yeah, but
Mello is random.
Mello is one of those guys.
No, I feel you.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, but there's nobody that I can really think of current. So, but I have gone the other way on some guys, like Kobe.
He grew on you?
Early Kobe could not even. Man, I'd have had the copters out. Like, we got a vehicle approaching the perimeter.
Yeah.
Get him.
Yeah. He's not allowed.
But, like, I'd give him the code.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd give him the code.
See, I was early on Kobe, and then I faded on him later.
Yeah, so I have a good friend.
I still love him, but like
I have a good friend who rides or dies with Kobe.
Yeah.
I mean, from the jump, we would have some knockdown. They weren't knockdown dragouts because he's super kind.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole Shaq Kobe thing, like, really ate at our friendship.
Really?
Not like I'm not going to talk to you, but I'm like, I think
contentious.
I think you're dumb. You know, like
I'm judging you a little because I think you're stupid now.
And he's already a big Red Wings fan, so that was a problem.
Yeah.
But he loves Nebraska, so that was kind of where
that helped you out a little bit.
Yeah, and he would miss college classes with me, so that was always good. I'm like, hey,
good influence.
I think they're gonna sit in class for about the first 12 minutes, so let me ride it out. I'll meet you out back. We'll get back to the apartment. Yeah, I do stuff like that.
Back in the day.
This is a bad kid.
Yeah, no, I don't know what to do with Vince Carter historically.
Oh.
That's where it's tricky for me because I kind of remember in real time where, you know, kind of the later Toronto years where they're kind of waiting for him to sort of take that step into being, hey, I'm a guy that can lead a team to a championship, and he was never really that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have that sort of in the back of my mind where people thought he could be, and he just wasn't, and that's fine. But he's a great, like, number 2, number 3, as you saw in his days with the Nets, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I do think he's probably underrated at this point, but in real time, there were people that were kind of glazing him a little more than he should have been.
I don't know. He was silly.
Dude, he was, but he just wasn't that guy. Like, they wanted him to be Jordan, and he wasn't Jordan.
Yeah,
right?
So it started with the more than a something. It was like a doc on Philly, documentary about that 01 season.
Mm-hmm.
And because, I mean, you talk about a poopy roster.
Yeah.
That's a poopy roster.
Not good.
And the Pacers team that they beat that Philly beat in the opening round was pretty good.
Yeah, they were good.
Like that Pacers, that stretch, they probably should have been better.
Well, I mean, they were good. They probably shouldn't have won a title because they were never as good as the Lakers. But like they made the finals in 2000, and it was largely the same roster.
It's a good roster.
Yeah.
But I was a huge Carter fan, but you're right. He is explainable. I have some in others. Like I'm a huge Andre Ward guy. In boxing.
That's weird.
He doesn't even really fit my style. But I love Ward because Bernard Hopkins. There are some guys I have some abnormal affinities.
You know who mine is in boxing that doesn't fit my style at all? Winky Wright.
Couldn't stand him.
I loved Winky Wright.
Couldn't stand him.
And I don't like his boxing style at all for some reason. I don't know if it was just like I was young and I thought his name was cool.
I can't even hate on his style because I'm a Pernell Whitaker guy.
Yeah.
And that peekaboo defensive style, like, typically is not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, the defensive technician thing is not really my jam.
I was surprised to hear Bud with Shannon give he anointed Mayweather the GOAT.
Yeah. Well, I think I've noticed this with basketball players, obviously a much different level in terms of what I was as a basketball player versus anything else, but I gravitate towards guys whose styles I kind of feel like I was closer to.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, Bud is much closer to a Mayweather style than he is an Ali or whatever, right? So I think that kind of makes sense to me. That doesn't shock me. And also, Floyd doesn't get enough credit.
But Bud is such a historian. So when you start talking about nobody could touch him at 140 and 147, I mean, you're talking about, there's a pantheon of great fighters.
Yeah.
You know, man, it'd be tough. It was just cool to hear because he is a historian.
And Mayweather at this point, because of sort of the caricature, doesn't get enough credit for being a great boxer. Yeah. I don't think.
He's
a personality at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so people they kind of do the thing. This is weird, but they kind of do the same thing with Mayweather that has happened with McGregor, but it's actually sort of true with McGregor. McGregor was a star that was a good fighter, not a great fighter, right? Mayweather was a great fighter and then became a star, but because they sort of ended up in the same place, I think sometimes they get lumped into the same category. It's just not true.
If you're just doing like an all sports, and this is hard, and you may have to put one more head on in South Dakota, but if you're doing a Rushmore of sport icons, Mayweather's maybe at the top of his sport. And I don't come at me with the Ali bit. Mayweather was better at what he did than Ali was, in my opinion. Even though I know it's blasphemy because of the iconic matches that
that's
Ali
the hard
had.
part. That's the hard part.
But Mayweather was brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, so like I can't push back on you that much with that. It's the iconic matches that make it really hard, and just the era of boxing in general.
Yeah,
like
I mean, Ali's always gonna have Frazier, Foreman, and Norton.
Yeah,
but okay, like, I mean, this sounds really stupid, but
are we counting Liston too or no?
No.
Okay.
No, he was a bully that hadn't fought anybody. Foreman or Frazier was just okay as a fighter. I know what that sounds like.
Yeah.
But stylistically,
yeah. Is it because you don't like him or you don't think he was good? Very good.
I just think as a skilled fighter, he was not. He just was.
What would Frazier be in?
He was a will imposer.
So he's like a Tyson.
No, Tyson was significantly more skilled than Frazier.
Okay.
Tyson, it's kind of the other way with Mike. Mike gets a bad rap because he was so devastating.
He was so powerful.
But Mike had good skill, better than average skill. You know a guy that I've come around on.
Other thing that eroded with Tyson's like skill level eroded. So like anything after like prison, like it's really hard to remember that before that the skill was actually really good.
But the problem with Tyson though is he doesn't have any signature wins.
Yeah, not really.
He didn't beat anybody of great caliber
because nobody mattered in that era.
Yeah,
really.
So
besides him,
I mean, he'll always get that. But I'll tell you a guy that I have really had to come around on, and I hate it. It's disgusting, and I need a shower and scope and all the other stuff. But you know who was like truly brilliant, and he fell off of a cliff, was Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
And I can't stand Roy Jones Jr. Hated him when he was boxing. I couldn't
like
stand him as a commentator.
Yeah, as an announcer.
But man, he was unbelievably good.
Yeah.
He was incredible.
Especially before he started playing around with the weight classes.
Yeah, and before, Tarver, and until he touched canvas from a punch.
Yeah.
Like he's just one of those guys that could never recover from being knocked out.
Yeah.
What's your excuse tonight, Roy? That's what Tarver said to him when they before they touched gloves.
But again, okay, so that was a light heavy match, right?
No, that was
did they do that at catch weight? Because Tarver got big too.
Yeah, I think it was 54.
I couldn't remember if they met before either of them got big.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Yeah, I thought that ended up being later in their careers.
No, it was. I think that was 54.
Yeah.
Or was it 68? It was one of the two.
I thought they were a little bigger,
but Roy hasn't. He hadn't gotten out of.
That's sort of one of those examples though of like sometimes you need to taste it a little early so it's not the end of you, right? And that wasn't Roy Jones's thing. Like he didn't taste canvas until pretty late in his career.
Yeah, he was kind of the anointed one. And Shane, by the way, I didn't mean to bury the lead. Incredible, gritty win last night. I hope.
I know the Clippers came and they forced the games. Oh, sorry, I'm just kidding. You're talking about.
I hate that.
Shane, I was happy for you. I wanted somebody in your family to be happy because I know your brother is like, damn those Lightning because they got their tails kicked.
No, he's not an Avs fan.
No, but can I just finish, Ravi?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because in your family, one of the fans of a team is done. I wanted you to still have your abs.
Well, thank you. There was all three things that needed to happen last night happened.
You talk about being on pins and needles.
Yeah.
What an improbable goal. And shout out to all my Minnesota Wild fans. You guys have to be really, really, really pissed.
Probably not thrilled.
Oh, so you're not talking the McKinnon goal?
It was incredible. I like those sons of guns. If they even remotely get their lips close to Lord Stanley's Cup, that game 6 will. And I still got a long way to go, but that game 6, that will come up.
Long way to go.
It will be on their video.
Oh yeah.
Their Stanley Cup champion
The
video
highlight
if
video.
if they win it. But I ain't gonna lie, man. I was praying for Dallas. I was like, come on, DB. Come on, man. Come on.
I hate that.
That dude's on the road.
Yeah.
That had a huge commit, man. How about the quarterback room?
I mean, I like it. Trae Taylor, 2027.
Taylor.
Taylor. You know, I think it's kind of funny because
Yes.
you get people that are like, oh, this is a huge deal. And you got other people that are like, it's 2 years from now. We'll see if he ever makes it on campus. And like, listen,
Yeah.
it's better to be like, whether it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter. You have to get a quarterback in this class. This is a good one to get, right? But being in positions to get these types of players, to me, is what's important, especially before you've actually done anything. Now, listen, if Nebraska pees it down their leg over the next year or so, yeah, maybe he doesn't end up at Nebraska. I totally get that, right? Same thing would have been true if he committed to Illinois, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't a strictly Nebraska problem. If Illinois starts in the top 15, like a lot of people think they will, and then they go 5-7 because, as our guys have told us from Illinois, they can't have 2 nice years in a row. Multiple times they've told us that. You know?
Yeah, that would be funny to see if that continues.
Yeah. We'll talk to our guys
because
when the time comes.
That will be funny.
But
just can't have nice things in Champagne.
I mean,
Champagne, because it gets the AIGN, right? It's not Pagny like
it's not like champagne. It's not like French.
Yeah, I understand.
So Champagne is a region in France. No, I'm just, but it's the same thing would be true if he committed to Illinois, right? Is okay, they go 5-7 next year. Now maybe that commitment from Trae Taylor is not feeling as solid as it did.
Yeah.
And let's not pretend like LSU isn't in the same boat where if Brian Kelly continues to struggle, we may have a conversation down there too. It's not like they're a famously patient fan base who fired Coach O a year after he won a national title.
Plus, you got the thing with Trae though is, and his recruitment is he's not like some spring chicken that's wide-eyed.
Yeah.
Right? Like he went through the process.
Been the guy for a while.
And he's I mean, he's seen a lot. He's not one of those guys that, they got in on early and
they're like, oh wow. He's like enamored by
he's like, oh no. No. He's like, oh gosh, I've never seen anything like this. Like he has plenty of comps from being on campus. And the fact that he snuck back in town
over the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, that thing was locked up.
Yeah, 100%.
So, it's funny too. I love when all these crystal balls come in, like when everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's just always funny. But for a guy that and like kind of lately, I get it. There'll be some hand wringing. 2 years is a long time.
It is.
But we haven't seen as many crazy, I've been committed. I'm not going to commit down the stretch. Like football it's better than I think we think it is, but it's certainly not like wrestling or volleyball or even basketball to some degree. Baseball, you see early commits stay. Now, a school may recruit over you in baseball.
Yeah.
But you typically don't flip in baseball.
No,
I mean, football is still the flippiest of the bunch. But
normally you have to worry about just the draft in baseball more than anything if you're in early on a guy. Basketball's weirdly civil. Like
for what it is.
Especially when you consider how chaotic the AAU system is.
Yeah, I agree.
Basketball is weirdly civil because it seems like it should be the worst.
I agree.
If I knew nothing about college recruiting and only saw the high school and high school recruiting landscapes, I would absolutely point at men's basketball as that's got to be the worst once a guy's committed because it's so chaotic beforehand.
Yeah.
But there's sort of this like unspoken hands off once somebody commits. It's weird.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just, and I like his vibe. I mean, it just happened.
Yeah.
Happenstance. The times that I was at practice, he was too. So clearly, I mean,
Yeah, you talk to him a little bit. You just run into each other.
You just get a good feel.
Yeah. He
But
seems chill. Like he seems like a chill
very,
guy. Yeah.
very. And
We got to make sure he's not disinterested, though, because you got to be careful.
well, one of the things that intimated was he'd done his due diligence.
Yeah.
And so even, I mean, this isn't, like, I think he just knew, right? You know what I mean? He just was an interesting kid. And so I was 3 for the last 3 at times of seeing him when he was on campus.
Oh, really?
It's odd.
And he was there. I mean, he came in a lot.
The first one was a super humbug.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last handful of time was probably a little more strategic, but smart, like savvy for his age. Very savvy.
He does seem you can kind of tell a difference between the guys that have been going through the process for a while and the guys that sort of blew up late.
And here's the thing too. Now that he's committed and the offers are going to probably be with it, he should get another star. And I'm not one of those guys that's going to split hairs between
4 and 5
getting another star and how all that business works.
Yeah.
But it will probably slow down the stardom, but certainly a legit prospect. And you pit it against guys that aren't going to be down on competition. Like I think you can keep Dayton in the class.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback room for the next foreseeable future quietly is pretty legit.
I would say it certainly has changed dramatically in the last 2 years.
And it's the only thing that can make the Braylen Warren buzz
go away.
I don't even know if it's going to go away.
Well, yeah.
Because you have to see it play out.
Sure.
Like if Braylen has an amazing college career, somebody else at Nebraska better have an amazing college career.
Better ball out.
So I'm not saying I'm just going to table that.
It could be quiet for now.
I'm just going to table that. And if you're cheering for B like I am.
Yeah, you want him to have a great college career.
Like keep the offers rolling.
For my buddy Evan's sake, I hope he goes to Illinois and kills it.
Yeah,
not against Nebraska.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it's early.
Yeah.
Like people got like B, he's just a junior.
Yeah, I mean he's got a couple years left.
So he's on pace. Braylen Warren is on pace to be the most highly sought after quarterback in Nebraska high school history.
Yeah. I mean, the offers are crazy already.
History.
Yeah. It's a long time. Who's he beating out? Like, what's the second place?
Yeah, so I guess you'd say Flores.
Yeah, I mean, are you just talking about recruiting era?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Who would you put in the discussion?
Well, I just know, like, Notre Dame was pretty heavy on Crouch.
Yeah.
So you've got those types of
you're gonna get
guys.
I mean,
if you're gonna go back
he could amass 30 Power 4 offers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's at double digits already, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's well on his way. A couple years left.
I mean, there aren't a lot of guys that Ohio State's visiting as a sophomore.
Sure. Certainly not quarterbacks in Nebraska.
So, I mean, dude's pretty good.
Yeah, he can spin it.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Which I had to drop Breeze off because the field was open. That's what the kids call it in their group text. And
that's fine.
It's like 5:55, and I'm like, it's raining. I'm just trying to get out of having to take it over. I mean, if we're just keeping it a buck, right? I won't even hold you. But he goes, well, I'm in the kitchen. I think I'm like slamming vitamins or something. And he's like, can't hurt to shower this early anyway. I hit the guys up on group chat. We'll see what they say. I'm like, you're a child. Shut up. Just like, you're not the boss. But it's cool. So I
see what the group chat says, and I'll let you know when we're leaving, driver.
Yeah. That was the delivery. So you picked up on that, right? Yeah. See, that I was wondering. I'm like, is that just me?
I could kind of see him doing it too.
Right. As he's like walking down the belt. I'm like,
he's like, hey, driver, I'll keep you posted on whether or not. Let me shower first, though.
Don't let me talk tough either. I was like, okay. Let me know.
Well,
I'm here.
There's two things there that are making you vulnerable. One, I'm sure you like that he's trying to get better.
I do. And he's as just a freshman, I do.
And so you're like, okay, I can kind of ride with that, even though he talked to me kind of sideways.
Yeah.
Talk to me like I'm the help.
100. It's kind of how I felt. And if it wasn't dark in the kitchen, there was only like really the microwave light.
Yeah.
I probably would have shot him one, but he couldn't have seen me anyway, so it didn't matter. No, but I mean, that's a heck of a. So, and I talked, and I want to get back to this with the whole Sharmar Brown thing.
Mm-hmm.
When we come back, I asked around a couple of guys.
Oh, okay.
Just narrative and kind of what's being said. And I got an answer that I didn't think of, that I think was really, it stopped me dead in my tracks.
Okay.
Okay, if that's what you're going on, I'm probably going to ride with you. I thought it was interesting.
We'll get back to that and much more when we return. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think it was a general team approach change and just mindset change. I think first you had to change the mindset to change the approach, and guys were, it was pretty much a rock bottom moment offensively. I mean, I kind of laid out the numbers for the group of hitters of like, hey, this is where we're at. I mean, and it wasn't pretty. It was, bottom of the barrel in Division I baseball. You get that kind of true eye opener there. It's like, all right, we know we got to do something different. So mindset first, and then approach, and then honestly not a whole lot of like mechanical stuff. I mean, there's guys that we continuously are working with on some of that stuff, but I would say majority is approach wise, and we've taken a different approach to how we've run the offense too since then. I mean, it's been we didn't have any sack hits until the Pepperdine game, and that was that West Coast trip, and now you can see the bunting is a bigger part of our offense. So I would say it starts with a mindset, though.
It's huge. Having a coach like Danny who just has so much confidence in the team and so much trust in her players, it really inspires you as a player. And so even though there were nerves, it was also so much confidence going out there because we knew we had it in us, like Ryan said. And we all really brought that out of each other. And having a coach like Danny who's so supportive, not that coach wasn't, but who's just like so supportive and has just like that faith in the team, you can go out and play freely, just rip off the hinges. Not to go back to last year, but it just is a really good saying.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, if you're out on the roads this morning getting to work, it's a little wet out there. Be careful. You might run into some slick spots. Sometimes that oil and water mixes a little bit, gets a little dicey out there. Pay attention.
You see I returned to the scene of the crime?
Are those the infamous shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I can't
from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I can't walk fast, so it doesn't matter.
It does help when you're injured and can't move fast enough to hurt yourself.
I know I won't be getting out of the truck to run.
Just be like, Zoe, you can get to the car. It's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
I have noticed, I hope you don't mind if I bring this up,
But
been wearing a lot of Nike gear lately.
yeah.
Did you make the switch? Did you sign a contract?
No,
Because you used to be a Nike guy, didn't you?
oh yeah.
Like-
I was out on Adidas.
Yeah.
I didn't get back into Adidas until my buddy Aaron. It was weird. It was just like a couple off-brand, not literally off-brand, but like he just sent me with a couple of pictures.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm fully transitioning the wardrobe. He'd send me like a picture of like some shoes, Adidas or an Adidas top or something. And I was like, oh. Then he hit me one day with like some Ultra Boosts. I was like, man, those are sweet.
Yeah.
And this was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm like, I should probably
check out some Adidas.
Check out some Adidas stuff.
Yeah.
Then the recruitment happened, and I infamously got a backpack thrown in the trash. I was doing recruiting day for the Big Ten Network, and I was getting ready to do an interview with Frost early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, we need to get you a new backpack, because I had a red Nike one.
Mm-hmm.
But man, tossed that thing in the trash and gave me this red Adidas one. Like literally. I was so taken aback, I took it. Like I just ate it.
You were just like, what? What just
I was
happened?
like, I got stuff in there. So I go back and get the cords out and stuff. No, I'm dead serious. He put that thing. I tweeted. I put a. I'm like, this dude just put my backpack in the trash. But I think now it just, I don't know. It's with losing so much weight, it just things fit.
Just fit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get that. I go back to things in my wardrobe that's like, well, that doesn't fit anymore. I'm going to do that and whatever.
Yeah. And somebody made the snide comment the other day. I can't remember where I was going, and they're like, are you going to look like a Westside coach today? I was like, dang. I probably need to diversify.
So here's what I don't understand. I'm gonna defend you a little bit here.
That's weird.
I know it's rare. Enjoy this. Just take a little mental picture.
Yeah.
I don't really understand people that ride with brands that don't pay them. Like to that degree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've got Adidas stuff. I've got Nike stuff. I love Jordan stuff, obviously. I got Under Armour stuff. But nobody pays me, so I'm going to wear whatever I want. Right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm – like I get there's these famous stories about Michael Jordan. Like if you came into his house with wearing anything besides Nike or Jordan, he would take it from you and give you Jordan stuff to replace it.
Shoot, I'd do that on purpose.
Yeah, right? I'd be like, I'm trying to get more gear, MJ. But like he would famously, like you could not wear off-brand stuff in his house. Mm-hmm. Right? Or in his presence, really. So, like, I get it, though, because they made that man a billionaire. That makes sense. Like, I would ride with the brand also. Nobody's paying these people. Like, even with Scott Frost, that sort of makes sense, right? He's being paid at a Nike school or at Adidas school. Like, it makes sense that.
I was so taken. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I get it with him.
And he took control, too, which I was like, okay, I'll eat it.
I get it in that situation. But just like normies that have no affiliation besides, I just like this. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And Kyle asked a question, and I get this a lot, and I try to ask. So, Kyle, I think you asked the right show. Kyle says, what are your thoughts on Nebraska and Adidas? He said, call me crazy, but I think if we went to Nike or Jordan, a.k.a. Jump Brand, it would really help recruiting. Plus, I think Adidas gear and jersey and merch is trash. Kyle, if you would have asked me this 5 years ago, pre-COVID, I would say, you might be onto something. But here's what's happened, and it's a multitude of things. Number one, Adidas is really, really made a concerted effort to capture the North American market. They own it overseas with soccer.
Yes.
And coincidentally, when I sent you the picture of the, loosely speaking, do you remember the office picture I sent you during the coaching clinic? Yeah. So we're in the office with boy that runs the Foot Lockers, right? So we were talking about this very thing.
Sure.
And he's an Australian, great accent, super cool dude. And I mean, obviously a big timer, right? When you're, I said, what's bigger than like a regional director? Like when you have continents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're probably
doing
all right.
well. Yeah.
So anyway, this dude is from Foot Locker, and we're talking about branding. I think a couple things happened, KB. I think number one, Adidas has really, really upped their game. They have made a concerted effort, which is why you see the deal with Raiola, because that's really how NIL is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Right.
We're like, hey, this person has a presence.
That's really how NIL.
They're supposed to be traditional endorsement deals, basically.
So I think I love how I froze too on the screen. Don't mind me. I like the fact that Shane, we just got hit with something too because the clock just got disconnected too. I'm trying to stay dialed, as my man Tristan Alvano would say. I'm dialed. So there's a little bit of a stigma that's been attached to Nike.
Yeah.
That continues to kind of have some undertones. I think the new age, the new high schoolers, I look at what shoes they're wearing. What are the cleats of choice? I think Adidas has made a nice.
They made inroads for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I don't think kids care as much. Now I will say,
like 10 years ago, it was a huge advantage to be a Nike school.
Yeah, 100%,
without a doubt.
Because 100%, because of the branding.
Yes. So here's the one thing and you are around way more people this age than I am because you coach. So tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The thing that I notice is the Adidas, not talking about shoes, the Adidas gear, I don't think is as good.
Yeah.
So I think that's the place where Nike and Jordan brands still have an advantage is.
Well, one is certainly more iconic.
Yeah. And so I think that's where, whether it's less about the shoes and more about everything else you're getting with an apparel deal.
Probably would agree. Because I think at the end of the day,
yeah,
kids want to be comfortable. So as long as the shoes, if they're comfortable, they'll rock with it.
They'll wear kind of whatever.
But there is something to the gear.
The gear's a big deal. I think it's a bigger deal than the shoes.
There is something to the gear. But I think all things being equal, kids aren't tripping over Nike versus Adidas anymore.
Kobe brings up a good point, though. There's a lot of stuff that Adidas makes only team issue that they don't release to the public, and that pisses people off a lot.
So I'll vibe with that.
And I'm guessing other brands do it too, but we know Adidas does it because it's here.
I'll rock that. I'll rock with that because there's things that I want from the coaches.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I would buy that. Please let me buy that.
And I ask all the time. I mean, super vagrant, homelessy, like,
hey, can I get some of that gear?
Sure.
I was rocking something the other day, and Kenny Bell called me out like that.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, man, Jay Terry give you that?"
You'd be like, who? I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Look. Huh? Oh, come on. Don't play me, DB. What are you talking about? Did you see that ambassador?
She's like, oh, hey, did you see that over there?
He said, man, nobody else is rocking that.
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, come on, man. Don't play me. Caleb's over there laughing like a little school person.
Yeah.
I almost went laughing like a little school person.
Yep.
And, I'm like, I don't know, man. So
I think other brands do it too, because there's been Creighton gear that the coaches have
100%
that I can't find on with Nike.
You think I haven't called? Hey, Adam.
Hey, give me one of those.
I gotta do it like how I really do it on speaker. Hey, those shoes that Coach was rocking.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how do you come up? On
I'm not even talking about the shoes because I know you get special issue shoes.
Listen.
I'm trying. They have just regular gear.
I know
that I'm trying to get like a quarter zip.
So you like
some of the warm-ups or whatever.
I know the one specifically that's powdered blue with the dark blue C and the light outline.
It's phenomenal.
That thing is sweet.
Yeah. Any of the powdered blue stuff they don't sell.
And so I get it, but Adidas is making it more accessible. And when you go to these other outlets, I know you get a lot of they're sold out.
Yeah.
especially those hats, like the Nebraska
with the
hat the
American
coach
flag.
rocked.
Yeah,
everybody's looking for those.
Mhm.
They'll come. Some of that stuff they're going to get better at letting the public get.
they need to because they. I mean,
Hey, just keep hitting the garage sales.
I
They
know.
crush that thing.
I know. I need to. I gotta see. I'm happy to pay for it. I don't want to go through the Black Friday of it all to try and get something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if there was an online portion or
No, I would be the same way.
you know what I mean? Like
I would be the same.
I'm not trying to fight people over a TV. You know?
I would be the same way. But I do like. I mean, Adidas is making some nice gear.
Mhm.
And I told you, like, this is probably 2 years ago when I got on the plane with non-licensed merch.
Oh yeah, you got in a little trouble.
Yeah, I got the side eye. I'm like, hey, I just got here. HBO, man. You want me to look a certain way?
It's my first day.
Give me the gear. Right? So
Yeah,
we're cool now.
No, I feel you.
But I'll rock with Kobe on that. Like they
need to get some of the cooler designs out to people.
They're getting better, especially if you want people to rock the merch.
Yeah.
Now you do need exclusive stuff for
100%. You
your
need team
staff,
issue
though.
only stuff.
You know, you don't want everybody rocking that.
But you gotta maybe see. Here's what I think they should do: is they should kind of slow roll it out. So you roll it out to the coaches first, and then when they're done, sort of you give them a 6 months head start or whatever. Then you roll it out to the public.
See, it doesn't. It's too big.
Yeah.
But I have it's a old school Herbie Husker Adidas with the slit neck.
Yeah.
And the short sleeve hoodie. The
Dude, I like those. I like those a lot.
I got a black one and a red one.
Well, I mean, if it's too big, you just help brother out.
I'm like, man, I'll take the trade off of the weight loss, but man, I want to wear this thing. I might just wear it and look like a fat kid. Because I do that, you know what I mean? Like sometimes
you'll wear oversized stuff.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I do it all the time.
Yeah, especially with the Westside gear. Yeah,
all the time. None of it fits, but
I'm just saying, if you know a guy that's a little bit bigger than you and like some gear,
but
you know,
I gotta go back to this Marty Brown thing because
I
told you Travis tagged me on the tweet and it was really pissing TK off. Right?
Okay.
Like no, and I'm riding with TK too because
which part was pissing him off?
So I think I can reread this tweet or this text because I was kind of vibing with him.
Okay.
You know, and I didn't let it get to me at the time, but he was right.
Okay.
You know, he said, you might need to go on a whole media tour to fix this Marty Brown narrative. Guys are still acting like Nebraska barely wanted him.
Yes, that's the thing that I was mad about yesterday.
So coincidentally, I reached out to a couple of the guys that he was referring to. I asked guys specifically at Nebraska, asked my cow guy, and of course I always have the ace in the hole, right? The kid, the young man himself.
Yeah.
And I asked kind of where the narrative came from, and we'll talk to Tim because Tim was one. I said it was basically they were getting it from Tim and Shafe, and Tim was tagged on the tweet that Travis sent me to said, "Hey, you need to talk to DB about this." But I wasn't going out of my way to tell recruiting guys how to do their job. If their intel is their intel, okay, mine is mine. I'm infamously the guy that said, when it comes down to being right about Nebraska, I'll take me. I've always said that. I've said that since 2006 because I'm not going to say anything out loud that I can't back up.
That you don't have a pretty good idea about.
And if I can't, I'm going to say, hey, in my opinion, or my 2 cents, or I'm speculating.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, this particular individual, I said, why are we so on this running back narrative where they didn't do this, they didn't do that? I'm like, how did Nebraska get in the thick of it literally at the 11th hour if they didn't want him? And I'm not going to go back and quote everybody because there were some really good ones. And 2 of them were off the record. So I'm definitely not going there.
Sure.
But one of the people said this. He goes, for me, it's more about this philosophy that it doesn't seem like Nebraska goes out of their way to talk about or recruit or set the narrative straight on how they covet running backs. So it's kind of open to interpretation. And I was like, well, I kind of, okay. Like so if Coach Rule or Coach Barthel or somebody came out and they said, hey, the position matters to me like this. This is what we're after, where they talk about it like quarterbacks or left tackles or whatever, because they're pitting it against the lore. And Schaefer was the one that said this months ago.
Yeah.
When he was like,
what, Nebraskans want out of their running back?
This is a Nebraska position. Like,
yeah.
Like they're
like
coaching, they're coaching against history.
Yeah.
Right. Where,
which is a good point.
And I was like, oh, that's a good point.
It's a really
too.
good point. Yeah.
Like it got me go. I was like,
yeah,
I get it. And this other individual kind of doubled down on it. He's like when's the last? We bumped into Amir. We stumbled into Roy.
Yeah. Amir was the third running back taken.
And people thought he was going to play defense. Right. He came in late in the class.
Yeah. He kind of came in as a humbug with Aaron Green and Braylen Hurd, who people like both better than him.
So, and I'm just like, so if they just were this outward proclamation of how they value the position, we'd probably think of it differently. And he goes, for me, yeah. And I kind of think he's right.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Like, I kind of think he's right.
So here's my question, though. And I know there's more history.
And I think that's where the disconnect is.
Sure.
Like, we kind of away this thing because – and you got to remember, in this deal, like, everybody kind of wants to save face because they're not going to compromise the other. Right? Marty's not going to come out and say X, Y, and Z. And Coach Barthel and Coach Rule – aren't going to come out and say, listen, they didn't win.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Now, there's plenty of things that go into it, right? And, a couple of them ate me up for a day or two. And it's still going to come back to bite. It's still going to come back to haunt me.
Yeah.
But having said that, the whole thing about them being indifferent about getting him, it wasn't a need. But they shot their shot.
Yeah.
Those two things can be true.
That's okay.
But they did a really good job
of being in it even while being late.
And they did it the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stress that enough.
And that's the thing.
It may not be for the player.
Yes.
But the player will come to appreciate it. And he almost appreciated it enough.
To make the commitment.
Now, was it a bugaboo early?
Sure.
Yeah. Did it work?
But once you kind of understand.
Did it work in the end?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and
absolutely.
Long term, if you do things the way you believe are the right way, then you should be fine. Right? If you start compromising on stuff like this, then you're going to have to compromise on everything. That's the place Miami finds himself in, right? Like, and I don't know if they even compromised, but they decided to do things a different way, and now they have to do it that way.
Yeah.
They have to go in heavy-handed with the big bag and the Godfather offer.
And I swear, it's
options.
almost like Coach Rule did say, like, he has one job.
To win.
To win.
Yeah.
If it doesn't help them win, he probably shouldn't be in that business.
I would agree.
And
if in that lens, if you think that compromising to get Charmar Brown would have helped them win, maybe you would have seen him do it, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
100%.
We're going to talk to Tim Verghese coming up next.
Well, I was an assistant when we started that. I don't even remember where we went, but I know it was far out of western Nebraska. We played Colorado. But so I kind of know what to expect, and I know it's really special to the people in those towns, and they put on a show the night before and treat us like royalty. So I know it'll be a great time, and it's a way to just be really appreciative of what we have in the state of Nebraska.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Just seeing, guys like Craig Brester and Jason Powell, who were, 15 years ago, that are doing great husband, fathers, and they're in great professions. They're leaders in their professions, and just guys like Brandon Brown, all these guys that are killing it out there in life, and Jacob Klein. I could go on, and I'm just so proud of them. Even Paul Donahoe, and so they're producing other great people and great sons and daughters. So I'm thankful for them joining our program, and they're an inspiration to me.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by our friend Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not too much. How about you guys?
DV, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not too much. Just keeping up with everything. It's we got a little late night news dump last night.
So it's like, I get I think people thought it was just about a done deal, and the last couple of weeks had gone really well for Nebraska. You get the visit after the visit, then the comeback visit, and then you listen to Trae Taylor talk. I mean, this is kind of how you want Nebraska to recruit, right? It can appear to be slow motion, but I always tell people slow motion is better than no motion, right? Like, they do their due diligence building what they think is a long-term relationship. Sometimes it's going to pay dividends like this time, sometimes it won't. How do you rank how do you rank or rate how they went through this recruiting process with Taylor?
Yeah, it's really impressive when you consider he's a 27 prospect, of course, and I know, if you're someone that hasn't been super plugged into this recruitment and you see 27 quarterback commits, it's like, oh, he's 2 years away from even enrolling. Why should I care? You should care because this is a kid that's been essentially going through this recruiting process since he was in 6th grade. He's been going through this since middle school. I noted it yesterday. He visited Michigan over a dozen times. He visited Notre Dame close to 10 times. He's visited some of these programs multiple times over the years, and so when you look at all of that and you zoom out and you look at this recruitment too, LSU's been in this for multiple years. A&M's been in this for multiple years. Illinois is also building this for multiple years. Nebraska offered in October, and then Nebraska got him on campus 4 times and just steadily built that relationship and really hit the fast forward button once Dana Holgerson, joined the staff, and they started to really key in on finding a 27 guy, and it kind of just turned out to be Taylor. But I think, again, if I was a fan out there and I wasn't sure who Trae Taylor was or really familiar with this recruitment, I would take some comfort in the fact that everything he said yesterday, the way he's handled this whole process, he's shut down. He's as shut down as you can get for a 27 prospect. Of course, other schools are going to try and flip him away, but you have to credit Nebraska for just the fact that they were able to trigger his ability to want to make this decision early. Because he could have carried this as long as he wanted to. He felt almost like triggered's not the best way to put it, because I know that, but triggered to make a decision. And it was because of the pressure Nebraska had kind of put on and the strength of the relationship he had built with the program over the last few months.
I get it can be young person specific in terms of recruiting methodology, but it appears to be some overlap in terms of whether it's getting a guy out of the portal, the Spindler courtship, the Pritchett courtship, the Marty Brown courtship. They didn't offer Trae until October. On the surface, it could look a certain way, but at the end of the day, don't you kind of get the sense that this is as much about Nebraska doing their due diligence on the player as much as it is the player doing their due diligence on Nebraska?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's communicated in a way that it's like, hey, like it's a two-way street. Like respect's a mutual thing. Like you got to come earn it. And I think Matt Rule said it best. Just talking, he said it about when talking about in-state recruits, and it just applies in general in this day and age when spots are so limited. If you think you deserve a shot, come prove it at camp. And it's just kind of that. That's kind of the method. Is yeah, we'll believe in you, and we, with certain guys, it's like, okay, we see the traits we believe, but like if you're out there, you truly believe you deserve an offer from Nebraska, like come camp, and that's just kind of what's been the talk to like underclassmen recruits that don't really have offers, or even older guys that want to earn an offer. Has just been that.
Tim, as somebody who is pretty deeply in this, obviously, what's the importance of getting your quarterback in a class this early in terms of how it can affect the rest of your class?
It just gives you an opportunity now to utilize him as a peer recruit and also build around him. We already saw yesterday some of the reaction from some top recruits. And Tavius Ellis, a top 70 prospect for us, top 5 slot receiver in the country. All of a sudden, he's interested in Nebraska. I talked to him yesterday. He's planning to visit here soon. He's got relationships with some other guys. There's a 4-star offensive tackle named Cameron Wagner out of Illinois. Nebraska's after that. Those two have built a relationship over the years, have just discussed playing together. Ahmad Hudson, the number 1 tight end in the 27 class, those two developed a bit of a relationship. I texted with Ahmad yesterday, and Ahmad was like, this is something that might help me with my decision, knowing that, Trae's going to be at Nebraska now. And then you ask around a little bit too, and it's like, okay, yeah, well, on the 7-on-7 trail, Trae plays for 24K, which is an Orlando-based team that has Devin Jackson and Danny Odom, 2 Nebraska 26 targets. He's going to be in their ears. Those two are pretty excited about the fact that Trae's coming to Nebraska. And then Trae, the last time he was in town, he visited with Ryan Mosley and Luke Sorensen, 2 top 26 wide receiver target, a top 26 tight end target. And so he's going to be working to peer recruit those guys now too. Had Zane Rowe in town over the weekend, 4-star athlete out of Denton Geyer. Zane said just while in town, Trae came up to him and was like, hey, I want to play with you. Do you want to play with me? Like, let's, we can make this happen. And so that's that because of Trae. Like I said, he's been doing this recruiting thing for so long, and because he's been on the 7-on-7 circuit, playing these national tournaments, been to all these college camps and recruiting camps and things, he's built some really strong relationships nationwide. And a lot of those guys are now keeping a closer eye on what's happening in Nebraska. And this will affect the 27 class, of course. It's a great way to get that jump started. But it helps the 26 class as well, because a lot of these guys, Dylan Raiola peer recruiting them certainly helps. But Dylan Raiola is not going to be on campus the whole time those guys are on campus. Trae Taylor, more likely than not, is going to have an opportunity to be those guys' quarterback at some point down the line.
How do you think Coach Rule and this staff, considering they tag team so well with multiple coaches being involved with guys, can set up a deal with Dylan and then Dayton, who we forget about? And because unfortunately, I think he gets thrown into, well, he's just Dylan's a Raiola, Dylan's brother, which I think is incorrect. And then Trae Taylor, where they've managed to put together an extremely competitive, at least on paper, quarterback room quietly, and an era where we know that quarterbacks don't typically stick around.
Yeah, that's part of it is just Thomas. I think a lot of credit goes there of just his identification skills to find the right guys at the right fits that are willing to compete. And just the state of college football right now, and being able to sell like, hey, like we're going to develop you, you're going to get your reps. Like, I think that's been the pitch primarily, but also with all of these guys, it's the post Dylan, like all of these, like you're selling all of them on a little bit on, you have a chance to take over the job. And yeah, like, I mean, it's someone's eventually probably going to have to transfer out. I mean, you look at the room as it is right now and what it could look like down the line. We're talking about 4 different scholarship quarterbacks that all, want to have a chance to start. We've talked about it a little bit. Like TJ Latif's had a good spring, maybe a little further ahead than they expected. I think he's going to be a guy that challenges for this job at some point down the line. Marcus Davila has some stuff to him. Like, I'm interested to see how he continues to develop. And then, like you mentioned, Dayton's coming into the program. How he continues to develop is going to be really fascinating to watch. And then Trae's going to come on campus. If he adds the weight, Trae's going to arrive on campus ready to compete for that job too. And so I think all these guys are ready to compete, and I think all these guys are competitive people. And I think that's what it comes down to is finding those character types that are competitive people. I mean, and this is how, like, Nebraska, y'all mentioned it earlier this week in one of y'all segments, but Nebraska operates kind of like a top 20 program, even though they don't have necessarily the results to back that up. This is what top 20 programs do. Look at Tennessee, look at Alabama, look at all these top programs, what their quarterback room looks like. Look at Texas. It's Quinn Ewers, it's Arch Manning, and then they've got Diabell coming in, and then they've got, it's just top quarterback after top quarterback. And that's what you have to do. You have to build these rooms out that are competitive. You have to make sure that you're pretty set up at the position, because, like in Tennessee's case, at any point, something like a Nico situation could happen. You have to be set up behind him to be able to keep things rolling if you lose your starting quarterback at any point.
I talked about that for a couple of weeks now, where I said to Ravi, you're going to win some and lose some with that philosophy. Because remember, I said, their methodology to recruiting is that of a team that wins 10 or 11 games. Mm-hmm. Now, if they ever win 10 or 11 games, you already have the infrastructure in place, TV, of how you recruit. And there's this thing that I think sometimes the fan base and sometimes even we in the media miss. There's this component that they're looking for where they're way more secure and confident in their potential results than the actual results. And by that, Tim, I mean, you need to let them know that you love this place and this is where you want to be. It's way more about what this place can be for you than what you can be for this place. And not that that's a roll of the dice, but it does take some stones when you aren't winning at the level to kind of have that prowess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's recruitments in like this last cycle and this cycle they could potentially won, but it's more of a, they are being very picky with who they take. And I had some questions with, they kind of reset the board a little bit amid some staff changes coming out of December into the fall. And then you zoom out and look at where, some of the guys that were higher on the board, where they've gone now and how the board is adjusted a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I kind of see what they were doing. Yeah, they are, one, because of the 105 roster limit, has kind of forced them to be, a little pickier. But two, this is what they want to be. I kind of think in a weird way, not in a weird way. I don't think that's the best way to put it. The way they've operated from Matt Rule down this spring, they know what they have as a program, and they're operating with a confidence of, we know what we have as a program. We know what we're going to accomplish here in 2025. Like they are moving in such a self-confident way that it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I feel pretty confident that they're going to have a good year this fall. Like, because the way they are operating, the way they built this thing out is so dependent on them having a good fall that, and there's no doubts about it. Like, I think from Matt Rule down to Dylan, I think the comfort that everyone's shown, just the buzz that everyone's shown, talking to recruits and listening to them talk about how, yeah, the buzz around Nebraska is unlike anything it's been before. Like, it's a really exciting time to be around that program. They're loving being at practice. They're loving all of that. Like, I'm leaning towards this being a good fall for them, not only because they have kind of no choice, but because the confidence across the entire program is at such an all-time high level.
Tim, let me ask you about the 26th class a little bit here, because, obviously with Trae Taylor, we fast forward a year to 27, but we sit here at the beginning of May, and Nebraska still has just 3 commits in 26. How do you see, and I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but how do you see the rest of this class playing out? And I mean, are we talking about a class that may only be like 10 or 12 guys?
I don't think 10 or 12. I think 10 or 12 is a little short, but I think it's just going to be closer to 15, maybe like around that number. Like it's going to be a smaller class, and I would say just like patience. I think that the guys are going to come. I mean, you look at the OV slate for the summer. I think last time I looked, it's 25 guys on there as we've got confirmed. And there's a few others I'm working to confirm dates on that are planning to visit, just don't have a date locked in. I think they could get up to 30, if not over 30 official visitors here in the month of June. And that's when things start to roll. Like something to keep in mind with how all of this is going right now. A lot of these recruits are waiting for official visits because official visits are the opportunity for them to come with their parents and potentially their agent and actually sit down and talk NIL and actually figure out, okay, where's the market? Where like who has the most competitive offer, all of that. And so it's not the final step for a lot of these guys, but NIL is obviously a factor in some of these recruitments now. And that's why, like, you know, like official visit season's kind of when these guys are getting an opportunity to negotiate and at least discuss it. And so that's where I think a post OV season, you're going to see a lot of movement, and more than maybe ever before, because one, these guys are trying to get things done before their senior season, but two, they have to wait till official visit season to actually sit down and make some of these or talk NIL.
It's interesting because especially on the heels of, you know, I'm going to keep harping on Kirby Smart's interview about, you know, going through spring ball and how many guys hadn't been through spring ball 3 times. You know, he was a little taken aback, and they can't practice the Georgia way. And you heard Ryan Day talk about, listen, if NIL is the first thing you're talking about, like, you're not coming here. We've heard Coach Freeman say, this is not going to be about money. Now, I get it. The cynic in a lot of fans are going to be like, yeah, right. We'll see when it comes to winning. We've seen Penn State operate like this, and they'll be loaded. It just seems like, Tim, at least as I'm trying to put these coaching interviews and pressers together, they want control back, obviously, right? Nobody wants to just cede control to the youth movement. Do you get the sense that sentiment is being felt by folks that are contributing money to the program too, where it's like, hey, we'll support you, but damn it, like, just be smart, like, spend wisely. How many of these Nico situations do you need to see before you can help recalibrate the market and the value as positions of leadership just as much as anything else? It seems like coaches want this back.
Yeah, you're seeing a more you're starting to see programs. Yeah, you're starting to see programs take a more calculated approach as a result of boosters wanting a more calculated result. Because like you mentioned, like at the end of the day, there's expected to be a return on investment. The money just isn't ever flowing, you know, with nothing to show for it. Like you know, the numbers floating around Texas now, it's not 35 to 40 million. That's a little extreme. But yeah, there's a significant amount.
Even Sark says, hey, you have one time, one opening, one stretch to talk about money. After that, we're not having this conversation again. Are we clear? They don't seem to have any issues. Like, it can be done in this day and age if the adults are the adults.
Yep. And again, like I mentioned it with Sark before, they run that thing like an NFL program. They do a really good job of keeping things in house and making sure guys, and they hold everyone to the same standard. And that's from Archman. And it certainly helps for them right now that they have the shining example of Arch in the locker room, a guy that everyone in that program loves, of being like, hey, like, you can do it differently in this day and age. You can sit down on the bench and you can bide your time and you could do all these things. Like Arch, having Arch and his personality and the way the Manning family has approached all of this, like the unique way they've approached all of this, helps instill that culture and reinforce that culture to guys in the locker room. But I mean, I would say in Nebraska's end specifically, I think what Nebraska's done a really good job of is still treating these recruitments like recruitments. Like, they do a really good job, like I've mentioned many times before, of building these relationships out and making guys feel comfortable, where all these guys, when they talk about Nebraska, they talk about everything but NIL. And then NIL becomes like this final, like, okay, hey, like at the end, it's kind of like, okay, well, everyone's going to be offering NIL. As long as it's competitive, it's probably going to end up being Nebraska. Like, that's what I'm saying when I'm saying June's going to be like this
in
kind
some
of
weird,
negotiating.
bizarro world, that philosophy that you just dictated almost worked with Marty. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're consistent in their philosophy. You want Nebraska doing business like that.
Exactly. And people can get upset about like, oh, well, why are they the highest bidder? Why are they whatever? You have to stick to your guns and how you recruit and your process, no matter who it is. And that's what they're going to do. It doesn't matter if it's Trae Taylor coming up this summer. You know, they're going to have Ryan Mosley, a top wide receiver target on campus. And they're going to have a competitive offer out there for him. But they're not going to be the highest bidder in that recruitment because they don't need to be. They have checked off so many other boxes that, one, they don't need to be. And two, for them, it's like, hey, this is our market. This is our budget for a wide receiver, a top wide receiver target in this class. This is what we're going to be working with. And same thing for other top guys on campus. When Titan Davis comes to town, when Valdon Sone comes to town, when all these top targets come to town, all of these discussions are going to be, well, here's what the value is. Here's what the market is for a Big Ten linebacker. Here's what the market is for this. And we're going to have an offer in that market, but we're not going to go above that.
So go ahead.
No. I was going to go to running back here for a second.
So I was just going to say real quick kind of about this NIL thing still. This is a genuine question, Tim, because I don't know the answer. Do you think that either last year when Dylan signed at Nebraska or this year in the offseason that Nebraska was offering the most NIL money to Dylan Raiola? Or would someone have paid more for Dylan Raiola?
I think specifically this offseason, I think someone would have paid more.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, and we love it when it works out with like Dylan Raiola, right? But then we kind of lose our minds with a Marty Brown. We're like, oh, why weren't we the highest offer? It's like, no, this is, even with a guy like Dylan, like this is how they operate, right?
Yeah.
Like that, to me, I think is to a DB's point where it's like, you want Nebraska to operate this way because it does work.
Over the long haul, for sure.
Yes.
And I got to pit this against the backdrop of their culture, Tim, because that's the part we're afraid to talk about because we don't really know what it is because we're not in it. We just hear them talk about kind of this vague term.
And we haven't seen the fruits we want yet.
Yeah, where I talk about guys cheering for other guys or competitive culture or why guys are as willing to hop in the portal. Like clearly, if the eggs are starting to settle in the skillet, they're not trying to really rock the flavor boat with selling their soul for money, right? Like they kind of like how you alluded, you talked in reference to they believe they know what they're dealing with, kind of their talent level. I'll take it one step further. I think they have a really good understanding of the players on that campus too, and where the tenor of the team is. They're not nearly willing to compromise that by being out of pocket about money.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes down to culture, but like again, zoom out. Talk about not just Marty Brown, but like all of these misses. When you see a miss out there, and you're like, well, you know, and the word is it does, you know, the NIL is at least a factor in there. It's like, well, again, like you mentioned, Nebraska's not going to really compromise anything for a guy. Like they want people that want to be here, and ultimately that's how you want to build a program in this day and age when like you see like fans complaining about, oh, everything's about money. Well, Nebraska's not doing that. So like,
I agree.
You're complaining about a made up issue. You're complaining about a zoomed out issue, but the team you're supporting specifically is doing things the right way.
100, man. Good. Screenshot that for the guys in the back. Let me ask you something about the running back position in particular, Tim, with, you know, Georgia and Ohio State and Oregon and Texas and Notre Dame and Penn State. Schools that are going to be in everybody's top, even Clemson. And I get with Klubnik, but they're going to be able to run the ball. Do you feel like Nebraska, with how they value or what they're saying about the running back position as it relates to what they need to do for the end game in this offense, do you feel like it matches up? Like the sentiment about the running back room and the running back position adds up to like kind of what we're seeing actually play out? And if you do or don't, is that where you think the disconnect or the consternation comes in terms of hand-wringing about the running back position as it relates to Nebraska historically?
Yeah, I think there's a financial element to this conversation and like a football element to this conversation. From a football element, it's a hey, we haven't seen enough from Quentin Ives and Mekhi Nelson to truly believe that what the staff is saying about them is real. And then they also took 2 high school running backs that we think have some stuff, but we don't know exactly how ready they're going to be for the fall. And then there's the financial element of this of, okay, well, there's a certain budget for each position. This is how much Nebraska spent at each position. And running back, relative to the NFL, is one of those positions that you have to have a certain amount of a cap on how much you spend. And so they're not going to go above that cap. They're not going to for them, from a financial standpoint, they look and they can say, hey, we've invested this much into the running back position. We have done our due diligence in investing into the position relative to the rest of the conference, relative to the country. Will it work out? It's ultimately dependent on, do Ives and Mekhi Nelson live up to the hype? Can they play? I, for one, have some confidence specifically like a Mekhi Nelson being a guy in this offense. And yeah, I mean, I would be a little concerned about the depth. It's like, okay, if Emma Johnson goes down, yeah, the running game takes a huge step back. But between Emma Johnson, between Quentin Ives and Mekhi Nelson, between some of the stuff you might be able to do with other guys in the offense, potentially lining them up in the backfield, I think there's going to be enough of a run game. And I also don't think what the staff said about wanting to run the ball this fall or spring is wrong. I mean, from players down, from coaches down, the talk to spring has been, yeah, they throw the ball, but we really want to run the ball. Like, we're really emphasis on
the line together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to take advantage of that. I mean, clearly Spindler is a much better run blocker than he is in pass pro.
Mm-hmm.
You could maybe say the same thing about Lutovsky, even though I think he's
pretty good in general.
Yeah, Justin.
And you can say it for Pritchett. You can say it for Pritchett, absolutely.
Yeah, you want to play to these guys' strengths, right?
Right, exactly. And that's part of this whole conversation too. The running game ultimately relies on what's up front. And if you're confident in what's up front is can be maulers, can move guys in the run game, can create space for you. It's nice to have Emma Johnson back there. It's nice to have like a star back there. But if the holes are open and it doesn't matter really who's back there. As long as they can hit the hole, you're good.
So, Tim, it's kind of funny because as you're talking about, if Emmett goes down, they're in some trouble. But I think back and I go, okay, at what position is that not true about? But
yeah, exactly. That's football. Like,
we seem to be way more concerned about running back depth than we are at some of these other ones. Like, obviously, we know if your quarterback goes down, you're in trouble, right? But, I mean, even last year with, like, corner, right? At the beginning of the year, if you had told anybody that they would lose their 2 starting corners or guys they thought were going to be starting, Bly Hill was going to start coming out of spring, and Tommy Hill obviously was a starter and was a potential high NFL draft pick before that went downhill. And if you had said to people before the season that neither one of those guys were going to finish your season as corners, people would be like, well, who's going to play? I mean, the Sierra Wright kid's only been on campus since like July, and then we've got all these other guys. I mean, Donovan Jones is going to start the bowl game. He hasn't played at all this year. Like, people would have lost their minds. But for some reason with running backs, it's just why is running back so much more emphasized when we don't talk about the same conversation when we're talking about corners or safeties or anywhere else.
Right. Like for me, I mean, the position I look at when I'm like, oh man, I have some anxiety if a guy goes down is, especially with Grant Seager entering the portal, is offensive tackle. Like, a guy goes down, it's like, oh, like the depth gets a little tricky there all of a sudden. But that's any position, like you mentioned, and yeah, with the running back one, it's interesting too, because how much do you trust the staff? Emma Johnson wasn't the Emma Johnson we know now when we entered the 24 season.
I keep going back to that, and people think it's a negative, but it's actually a positive because I'm a huge
EJ
guy. But we didn't value him the way that we do, and all of a sudden over an off season with 600, 500 yards and 1 touchdown, like, we love him. It says more about us than it does him, and it says a huge piece about Nebraska in terms of their development. It's incredible.
Yeah, would it surprise y'all if Emmett has a really good year, moves on to the next level, and this time next year we're talking about Mekhi Nelson in the same way as like being this lead back, being this guy that like, oh, you got your bell cow, you got your guy, and Mekhi Nelson are one of them. Connor Booth, Jamarian Parker, take one of them. But like, would it surprise me? Someone from that room emerges?
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, shoot, Marty Brown's on campus that morning, and Mekhi Nelson has the best practice of the spring. So he literally had his best practice of the spring. I mean, they were thumping. So it does not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, me neither.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, Inside Nebraska. Great stuff as always, Tim. Appreciate the time. Have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Appreciate y'all.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Really great stuff.
All those teams in the top 15, 20 that I was naming all have a guy that's going to tote the rock.
Yeah.
We act like running the ball isn't important.
Hold on. Don't put me in that group.
Listen, I begged to differ.
We're talking about the royal we?
I begged to differ.
Because who's been telling you that?
From the NFL on down.
I would say, who's been talking about in the NFL how, hey, instead of spending $45, $50 million on a mediocre quarterback, go get you a running back on an offensive line? Who's been talking about that?
I don't know. Some dude.
Don't put me in that foxhole with the we don't value toting the rock.
Don't put that crap on me.
All right, Coach Miles. Hey, Michigan Lance, hold on just a second here. We will get to you when we come back. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think it was a general team approach change and just mindset change. I think first you had to change the mindset to change the approach, and guys were, it was pretty much a rock bottom moment offensively. I mean, I kind of laid out the numbers for the group of hitters of like, hey, this is where we're at. I mean, and it wasn't pretty. It was, bottom of the barrel in Division I baseball. You get that kind of true eye opener there. It's like, all right, we know we got to do something different. So mindset first, and then approach, and then honestly, not a whole lot of like mechanical stuff. I mean, there's guys that we continuously are working with on some of that stuff, but I would say majority is approach wise, and we've taken a different approach to how we've run the offense too since then. I mean, it's been we didn't have any sack hits until the Pepperdine game, and that was that West Coast trip, and now you can see the bunting is a bigger part of our offense. So I would say it starts with a mindset though.
It's huge. Having a coach like Danny who just has so much confidence in the team and so much trust in her players, it really inspires you as a player. And so even though there were nerves, it was also so much confidence going out there because we knew we had it in us, like Ryan said. And we all really brought that out of each other. And having a coach like Danny who's so supportive, not that coach wasn't, but who's just like so supportive and has just like that faith in the team, you can go out and play freely, just rip off the hinges. Not to go back to last year, but it just is a really good saying.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla, and reminding you, Centris Federal Credit Union is where it's at if you're looking for a new car. They have been voted best in Omaha for auto loans, or maybe you're looking for a recreational vehicle, maybe a motorcycle as well. They've got you covered regardless of what type of transportation you're looking for. It's centrisfcu.org to get you started, federally insured by NCUA. You know, DB, I was actually thinking about buying cars, weirdly enough, when we were talking with Tim, because
I need one.
I've gone to
go find me one.
You just tell me what you want. We'll go find one.
I want to get out of the SVU world.
You want to go back in
SUV world?
I would say I think you live in the SVU world with your serial killer tendencies. But
no, it's a good show.
I mean, you're spinning a knife in your hand while you say that. It's a little less convincing.
It's a butter. It's a butter knife.
You got rubber gloves.
I can't even do much with.
You got rubber gloves and you're spinning a knife in your hand. Like you're not helping yourself out any, man.
I don't know why the butter knife was over here. I didn't do it.
Should I pick that up when I set stuff up?
Maybe.
I mean, it was just sitting there. I was like, I don't know what this is doing here. I'm not even touching it.
But so I'm thinking about, we're talking about value versus available funds, right? Because, I like to lease cars, right? That's my typical go-to. And I go in and I have an idea of what I want to pay for whatever I'll go into a dealership and there'll be like 3 or 4 different models I'm looking at, right? And I'll go in, I'll be like, okay, I'm looking at this model for around this monthly price. And they'll be like, oh, we can't really get you there on this one, but on this other vehicle, we can get you to that number. And I was like, no. That vehicle is not worth that number to me.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going in, just because my budget is X does not mean I'm willing to pay X for whatever you have to offer. Right? So let's say you go in and your budget on a car is $400 a month or whatever, pick a number, right? And they're like, I can't get you to $400 on this SUV that you want, but I can get you to $400 on this minivan. It's like, well, first of all, I don't need a minivan. That's not a need for me. Number 2, I don't value the minivan at the same number that I value the SUV. So just because I can pay $400 doesn't mean I'm going to pay $400. This is not a talk about auto loans. It's a talk about running backs. Just so we're all aware.
Yeah.
You get where I'm going here?
I do.
Like budget and what you're willing to pay are not always the same thing.
Yeah, I completely get that scenario. I just, for me, and I'll move on, I always worry about not necessarily buyer's remorse as much as the entity that was bought. Because sometimes at such a young age, we're captivated by the wrong things, but it's just part of the maturation process. You just hope that the lesson learned, you can recover from in enough time.
Sure.
So
And
that's kind of the way I look at it.
And you could make the argument that was one of the fatal flaws of the Scott Frost era, is that they compromised on some things, had some buyer's remorse, and weren't able to recover.
Yeah. And a guy that was well aware that
it happened.
That it happened.
I think that's probably the thing I was most surprised about that you told me about Frost.
That he told me that?
That he was aware that it happened.
Yeah.
He was aware of the decision that he made, and that he was aware that it backfired, and that he was aware that
by halfway through year 2, he's like,
I messed that up.
He's like, look, man, I compromised some things in the recruiting area because I wanted to win so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
At that,
and that's the part. See, I don't have any problems with that.
At least he's aware, right?
And who
amongst us hasn't been like, yeah, let's go get it now?
And I wish, and I'm throwing myself into this. Sometimes real time when something is spiraling, that I just say, hey, this is spiraling.
Yeah.
You know, like
being aware of it spiraling is half the battle, right? Because
so I never.
The earlier you're aware of it, the more likely you are to save it.
Yeah.
Right.
The ability to, because I always think critical thinking boils down to more like, okay, what now? Not what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what now?
Right.
Like this has happened.
Yeah. Now what?
Now what?
Now, sometimes it's useful to understand why this happened to get out of it.
Typically post, but yes.
But sometimes in the moment it can be helpful.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason sometimes we'll be like, okay, can we get a root cause here so I know how to get out of this? But you're right. Dwelling on how you got there, typically not the best way to get out.
Yeah.
Right? So that to me is, but the best way to get out of it is to not get it in the first place. Right? It's to not compromise what you're about for a running back. And, let me ask you about this because obviously a lot of this we're talking about Marty Brown, but sort of a larger conversation about how Nebraska recruits and how they operate.
The running back position.
Yeah, the running back position and how Nebraska operates in general, right?
Hey, can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah.
Are you a 5 or 6 scholarship guy in running backs?
Honestly, I think I'm okay with 5.
Okay.
I feel fine with 5. Like, I don't look at Nebraska's room this year. I wish one of them wasn't a true freshman out of Booth or Parker. I wish one of them had a year in the program, but I'm fine with the number. I don't look at this. I look and I go, okay, I've got Emmett, I've got Mackay, I've got Quentin Ives, I got Connor Booth, I got Jamarian Parker. I like my options there. I wish one of the 2 true freshmen was a year older. That's it. And I'm not going to split hairs over that, but I'm fine with 5. What about you?
I go back and forth. If I'm talking to Dan Jackson, I'll say 5. If I'm talking to me, I'll say 6. If I'm talking to,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know what the right answer is. I start with health, but that's too easy because you can't
predict it anywhere.
I think I lean towards 5.
Yeah, you kind of run into this at a few different spots, but when I get to 6, I start to think somebody's going to be unhappy here.
Yeah,
there is a diminishing returns in number of bodies in the room. And we'll talk about this at some point. We don't have to right now, but that's one of the things I'm starting to look at with Creighton's basketball roster, right? I'm like, somebody's going to be unhappy with their minutes there. There's too many good guys that are capable to make everybody happy with the amount of minutes they're playing. So that's the thing that I'm starting to look at and starting to think about. I think running backs, it's a real thing, right? It's probably I would say it's the most corollary to basketball in the sense of like, hey, I got to get my touches the same way like I got to get my minutes. If you're talking to a good basketball player and he's playing less than 15 minutes a game, he's probably not going to be happy. If you're talking to a good running back and he's not getting 8, 10, 12 touches a game at least, probably not going to be happy.
I hope you're right with 8.
Who do you want to get to 8?
Well, any of whomever the third guy is, 8 would be great.
So let's say it's
8 would be great.
Emmett, Mackay, and Quentin in some order for Mackay and Quentin. I think they're going to be situationally different, so I don't know that they're going to overlap a ton in terms of what they would do.
Yeah.
So you would like to see Emmett. Let's include receptions here.
Let's not, for the sake of the discussion.
Okay. So how many carries are you looking at for Emmett? 16?
18.
18? Okay. So number 2 guy, you want 12?
10 to 12.
And then at least 8 for the third guy.
Yep.
So we're talking 38 carries a game?
Yeah. Basically.
How many plays you want to run? 75?
4.
So we're just over 50-50.
Correct.
So 52-48 run pass?
That's how I am.
It's kind of in the neighborhood?
I didn't just pick those numbers willy-nilly.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure I got my math right.
Yeah.
So you're talking 38 carries, 36 pass attempts?
Yeah, because I'm just looking at this offensive line. And talking to Coach Barthel so much over the last couple of weeks, I know how he feels.
Mm-hmm.
I've always known how Coach Raiola feels.
Yeah.
And I think I understand what Coach Holgerson wants to do. That took me some time because
we have an idea of who we thought Coach Holgerson was.
Not so much that.
Okay.
As much as
that's what it is for me.
Well, for me, I knew he had to see what he had.
Sure.
So I'm not basing this on his history
because
I was never one of those. Well, he's an air raid. Like
no, but
I knew that from the jump.
He's very adaptable.
Yes. Yeah.
So if he's got a certain skill set on his team, he'll adapt to that.
He can do that. So I had to give him time to see with what he was working with. Now, the only consensus I've gathered, and it was really cool to hear Coach Barthel talk about this, is he loves the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the big things that I think he's talking to these running backs about is look what we're capable of doing up front. This is different since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard him talk like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard the coaching staff, almost to a man on the offensive side of the ball, go out of their way to talk about the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
They've done it all spring.
Yeah. I think
I pit that against the very first visual that I had leaving spring practice.
Sure. Yeah.
What was the famous call? Oh, yeah. What was the famous text?
You're like, I think the offensive line is really good.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Because you're like, I don't. Yeah, you didn't couch it, but you put context where you go, I don't want to be overreacting, but
yeah,
I think the offensive
and
line
I've done
really
this
good.
long enough to know like what I'm pitting against my own personal feelings.
Sure, and what it's like, hey, good offensive line versus bad defensive line, right?
So, like having said that, they want to run. I think they want to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I listen to these conversations between a courted running back and a coach get into like their favorite pet plays and how they like to run it. And I told you a little bit of the snippets of Brown asking Coach Rule about their favorite plays and what Coach Rule likes. It's the first time audibly I've heard Coach Rule talk about what he appreciates in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this uninterrupted? I'm just listening.
Yeah,
I'm trying to walk ahead, but still.
Keep an ear back.
Because I'm like, fudge. Because the only reason, it's not like they don't know that they're talking in front of me. I didn't want to be in the conversation.
Sure.
And I was very, very tempted to interject.
Yeah.
Because I'm like.
Clean yourself up a little bit.
I mean, it's in my, it's tailor-made for what I like to talk about.
Yeah.
And so I know what they want to do. And I look at Lutovsky. I look at Pritchett. I look at Justin Evans. I look at Spindler.
Mm-hmm.
I look at these guys up front, Sledge. Like, these guys are grading hammers. Not to say they can't pass pro, but fudge. If I move Turner Corcoran inside and he plays an interior guy, or I look at Kanak and he's going to play the right tackle, if he plays the right tackle spot.
Mm-hmm.
How am I playing to these guys' strengths?
Sure.
Go all the way back, and I'm a nerd, so I remember specifically. But what was the first thing that what were the first attributes that Coach Rule talked about with Spindler when he was asked about Rocco's emergence? This is when he took the media by storm with his presence on day one of getting behind the mic. How'd Coach Rule describe him? Didn't fawn over anything in particular, but he did say this early on.
You have to give it to me.
He's a big guy that can move people.
Oh, yeah. Which sounds really simple.
It's the first thing he said.
Yeah.
Big guy that can move people.
Yeah.
If you move people, are you talking about running the ball or throwing the ball?
Usually running the ball.
You're talking about running the ball.
What did Shaver say about Elijah Pritchett?
If he gets his hands on you, it's curtains.
Yeah. Sounds like he's talking about running the ball.
You couldn't see it because it was field level. And I said this to Pritchett real time. The thing that I was the most, I'm just a dork, and I hate the fact that I'm like this. Because nobody ever wants to get in the weeds, so that's why I end up talking to myself.
Okay.
I'm like, he's going to win this tractor pull because he is in frame.
Mm-hmm.
What do I mean by in frame?
So he's not going like.
He wasn't side to side. There was no wasted movement. He stayed in here to here, legs. His knees were almost directly under his armpits.
Mm-hmm. Which were, it's like hips, knees, armpits, shoulders.
I'm like,
all
this
is
an efficient monster. There is no wasted body movement.
So,
even when the harness snapped, it was choking him. He put one elbow towards the ground and he kept it away from his neck because I think it was choking him, and he stayed in frame.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude knows where his base is. He knows where his base is.
Because that's what you hear about when people are talking about.
And I'm watching Van Poppel,
Yeah.
who's this big a monster,
Yeah.
but he's kind of sprawling.
Mhm.
Because as he got tired, the form got
mechanics
away
started
from
breaking
him.
down a little bit.
And so he was moving as much side to side as much as Pritchett was vertically,
Straightforward.
gaining ground. But I think that's how they want to block too. Stay in frame.
Well, so you hear that when you're going, we just went through NFL draft season, right? When people are talking about offensive linemen and be like, he reaches a little bit. He's talking about getting outside his frame, right? Because when you're reaching, you're out of balance. So for an offensive lineman, especially, that's great to hear and great to see. But the only reason I knew that is because I watched way too much World's Strongest Man when I was a kid, and they're doing all like the semi pulls and all that kind of stuff, and you could always tell when the guy started swaying back and forth, you're like, nah, that's not going to be it. He's not going to be the one. It was the guys that can drive straight forward and not waste any motions. Maybe some of those guys should have been offensive linemen.
I know. I know. It's
Can you
like,
imagine like a 6'8", 400-pound Brian Shaw on offensive line?
and I just think they want to run the ball.
Yeah.
And whether it's 51-49 or 50-50 or 52-48.
Yeah.
Okay. But
It'll be in the neighborhood.
there's just too much talk about 4-minute offenses. And so when I asked Tim the question about does it fit kind of with the aura and I think when I was talking to my buddy yesterday, when I asked him kind of what is it, like where'd you get this narrative? And he put it against Nebraska's history.
Mm-hmm.
I think for him, like if he just heard Nebraska talk about the position more, I think and I'm speaking for him in this part, but what I gleaned from it was I think if he hears them speak laudingly about it, it would come across as being treated differently on the recruiting trail.
Yeah.
Does that is that too linear?
No, it makes sense. I'm just trying to think back, and I think they talk about it better than people are acknowledging.
And that could be the case.
Like, that's my issue.
It was just real time.
Sure.
And he was the only person
Yeah.
that really laid it out like that.
So I think there's two things. I do think people don't necessarily hear the same things because we just talked about it, how much they've talked about how they want to run the ball, how much they've talked about how much they like their running back room, and we just sort of don't believe them. And I don't know if it's because there's still this thing where we don't like the running backs coach as much for whatever reason. It seems like there's a segment of the fan base that feels that way. I don't know if it's because the results haven't been what we wanted them to be.
Yeah.
Haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since a Zigbo, and haven't had the success in the running back room or the sexy recruit in the running back room or whatever to kind of hang our hat on. Because I actually think they talk about running the football pretty glowingly. Like, it seems like a thing they really care about. I think it's maybe they don't talk about individuals in the same way.
Does it match how they approach the recruiting trail?
I think so. You know how many people wanted Jamarion Parker?
No, listen.
You know what I mean? Like,
they were way ahead of the game too.
Yeah, they were super early, and they stuck with him through injury.
And he comes with his own set of degrees of difficulty.
Sure.
That aren't just football related, right? Like, you talk about the holistic approach to taking care of somebody emotionally, lost his
he's been through a lot.
Tough.
Yeah.
And you're talking really St. Louis. I'm not talking like Belleville or these suburbs. I'm talking
like East St. Louis.
I'm talking like East St. Louis.
Yeah.
So, like, that's something together different. But, yeah, Nebraska did stay with it.
Mm-hmm. But that's a guy that had options.
Yeah. And building that relationship, I think, helped him.
Yeah.
Now, again, you still got to hold up your end of it once you get here.
Sure.
But, with the recruiting process, I completely agree
like,
with
that's
you.
a highly sought-after guy.
Yeah.
That's a guy that a lot of people wanted that Nebraska landed. So I don't know.
Like, why do I like Mackay? Well, not just his running talents.
Because he's good.
No, it's not. See, it's not that. It's.
But he is.
I talk about a lot about his personality, his temperament.
Yeah.
That matters.
Sure.
Right? You having your best day with other people watching matters. I think that day, like, I think his peoples were there too.
Mm-hmm.
And there were several of them.
Yeah.
If they were all together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a pocket full, right? And I was messing with him about, like, not going home. He's like, I don't travel too much. I'm kind of low maintenance. I'm here. I'm like, ooh, check.
I was like, you
check.
like that? You like that?
Check.
Yeah.
Just ornery enough to keep me on my toes.
Low mean-spirited.
Check.
Yeah.
Violent. Check. In football.
Yeah.
Before you. Oh, you like serial killers?
No, I would never say that.
It's a violent runner for a little guy. Check. And here's the other thing is he's so quick to get away from the Philadelphia recruitment because Philly gets all the recruiting love, and he's just from Wilkes, right? It's like nobody recruits us. So I'm claiming where I'm from.
Yeah.
I'm not riding on the coattails of them guys.
Yeah.
Check. Now, I say all that to say not to fawn over Mackay, because that's well documented. What I'm saying is
they recruit a certain mentality, and
that's what I'm saying.
They recruit a certain mentality in that group.
That's what I'm saying.
I think a lot,
and their coach has that mentality.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not always sexy for everybody in the recruiting world, but the temperament has to fit.
Here's the thing that I think the only thing that will really cure what we're talking about. Nebraska needs a production out of that spot. And I think really when we're talking about the recruiting thing, they need a high-profile recruit at the running back spot to pan out for people to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually need that to win, because I think there's plenty of under-heralded. It's like Emmett Johnson is this guy that we were fawning over as a recruit necessarily, not to the degree that I think people are talking about, or Mackay Nelson necessarily was. Those are guys that I think you look at and can be successful. But in order to kind of squash this conversation, you need a high-profile running back recruit to be successful here. Because if you think about it, it's been a very, very long time since a highly sought-after running back recruit has been successful at Nebraska. Because you just talked about Amir. He was an afterthought. Talked about Roy Haluth. He was an afterthought. Rex Burkhead might be the most recent highly sought-after guy that was good here.
And we didn't really get back into loving Rex until Team Jack and as a pro.
Absolutely.
Before we were like, man,
he's not
is he splitting time?
He's not that. He's not whatever.
I remember.
I think it goes all the way back to Marlon Lucky, who was never quite what we wanted him to be.
Yeah, we act like,
even though he was highly productive.
And I used to say to myself, isn't he better than didn't we have a better career than we thought?
He certainly did.
It seems like it.
He really did. I think for a long time, maybe to this day, still holds the reception record at Nebraska.
To this day.
To this day. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Mike Sautter here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I was an assistant when we started that. I don't even remember where we went, but I know it was far out of Western Nebraska. We played Colorado. But so I kind of know what to expect, and I know it's really special to the people in those towns, and they put on a show the night before and treat us like royalty. So I know it'll be a great time, and it's a way to just be really appreciative of what we have in the state of Nebraska.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Just seeing, guys like Craig Brester and Jason Powell, who were, 15 years ago, that are doing great husband, fathers, and they're in great professions. They're leaders in their professions, and just guys like Brandon Brown, all these guys that are killing it out there in life, and Jacob Klein. I could go on, and I'm just so proud of them, even Paul Donahoe. And so they're producing other great people and great sons and daughters. So I'm thankful for them joining our program, and they're an inspiration to me.
sauce, no pico, give me that.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Mike Sautter.
Yeah.
Mike Sautter.
Oh, man, you're going to put me on the spot.
Mike Sautter.
Kicking off hour number 3 here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi. Lulla. We are joined now by Mike Sautter of Hurrdat Sports and NEBPreps. What's up, Mike?
Not much.
Jerome,
go ahead. What?
How we doing?
I'm doing all right. My kindergartner does not have school today because it's kindergarten roundup day. So I got to find something to do with her.
That's funny. Every time I hear roundup, I think weeds, but coincidentally, it usually has to do with kiddos.
Let me tell you about. Okay, you know I'm like a lawn guy, right?
Have that conversation with Sam McEwen at some point.
He doesn't care about lawns.
You're not like a yard guy.
You're not like a yard guy, are you, Damon? Yes, Sam, I actually am. But go ahead.
Roundup for lawns, like the specific stuff made for lawns that won't just kill your grass. It is amazing. It is the absolute best, without question. Weed killer product that won't kill your yard, especially if you buy it from concentrate and you mix it into the sprayer like I do. It lasts a long time. It's fantastic.
Have you noticed the lions of the dandy variety are incredible this year?
Yeah, not in my yard though, bro. We ain't doing that.
So
we are not. If there is even the leaf of a sign or the smallest, no.
What pre-emergent are you rocking? Because even my industrial guys have complained about the dandies.
They're like thick and long, because we had a kite day for kindergarten kid yesterday at the school, and there was.
You hear that? Sautter flies kites.
That's awesome.
No, hold on.
What? Shane has a kite flying story, and I was floored that he still flies kites, but apparently.
Wait, he goes like as an adult?
alibi was with his nieces and nephews, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry.
Oh, like if you're an adult,
I found $20 laying on the ground when I was flying the kite.
You probably still got 1950 of it.
Oh, look who's talking.
I was gonna say pot, kettle. Come on now.
Look who's talking.
Well, that's only with shopping for food. Like shoes, I don't care. I'll spend whatever. But like if I can get 20 items for $30 at the grocery store, I'm getting 20 items for $30.
What pre-emergent did you use?
Sorry, I use I actually go to the grass pad. I come on down to the grass pad.
That's your spot, man. No
yeah. Love that place. Their stuff is amazing. It's way better than the big box store stuff. So
okay. So again, what pre-emergent did you use?
I use whatever they tell me. Whatever I buy the 6th thing. Like the 6-step program thing. I don't know what it's called.
Wait.
I don't know the details of the science behind it or whatever.
You time the rain, or did you use sprinkler system, or you
definitely time the rain. Definitely time the rain. Speaking of sprinkler system, guy's supposed to be here 9 to 11 this morning to turn the sprinklers on. Not like I need it right now. I did mow in the dusk last night. So
how's the thumb?
It's not as swollen, but that joint, that UCL joint, is kicking. It really hurts. Should probably wear the brace more though.
You just switching hands at night, or what are we doing? What to use the restroom, bro?
Okay, this is not
okay.
The worst. this is not on live, so I can say whatever I want. The worst part about the hand injury is I am right-handed.
Yeah.
And after you go number 2, you generally wipe with your right hand.
Bro, I wouldn't eat. I've been through this. I've been through this before. I look.
So like the first time with the left hand wiping, I immediately hit the shower. Immediately hit the shower.
I'm preach.
No,
And I am a shower after pooping guy. Like no question. I can't be just walking around all day. Nah.
All right. Thank you for Warren just answering my question like a normal person. Now I'm past the pre-emergent stage, but he said the pre-emergent at grass pad is called prevent. Kind of like
prevent. Yeah, but I thought you meant the like what the actual science is called. I don't know.
No, I don't know. No.
He just wants the name of the product.
Yeah, it's prevent.
It's too late, and my yard is amazingly green, so I'm not crying over that.
Well, you probably need to drop some weed and feed on there.
Get the yellow pop-ups. Let me ask you something else.
Put some weed and feed on there. You can go on down to the grass pad and get some weed and feed right now. And like you're about outside of the window, so you need to do it like in the next couple days for the weed and feed, and then your dandelions won't be popping up anymore. I'll tell you that. And your grass will feed.
I don't have a
spreader.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'll walk around and do that thing though.
Get a hand spreader.
A pardon?
Get a hand spreader, like one you can put like you can hold it with your hand, and then like you turn the knob and it spreads on your yard. Or you can be a real man and buy like that. Or you can be a real man and you can buy a spreader for like $35 at Menards or something.
Cool. You and my nards.
Wow.
What? Hey, do you like my heads?
Yeah, I can't wait for you to just have a meltdown. I hope this happens so much.
That's not really all that kind. Like, to be honest, like, why would you want that to happen?
Well, let's think about our conversations in the last 2 years when that guy Rodgers was the quarterback of my New York Jets.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Can we take a step back here for a second, Sautter? Because I seem to remember most.
I was excited for.
Hold on. I seem to remember all those conversations with you talking trash and then us responding appropriately to your trash talk about.
Yeah, 100%. Because I thought he was going to be great. I thought we were actually going to win and do all this stuff, and then turned out to be he's a psycho. And
oh, that's a little harsh.
I watched the full documentary. The ayahuasca thing is like, that's a little.
Would it surprise you?
Yes. He doesn't strike me as violent. Now, he is out there. I'm telling you.
He's a weirdo.
Wounds of the father is a real thing for dudes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
I can relate.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The sins of the father, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, who else is good? You're not rolling Mason Rudolph out there. Like, that's not.
Rodgers or Cousins. They're either going to sign Rodgers or they're going to trade for Cousins.
Yeah,
like, that's what's going to be.
I agree.
Yeah. Or Will Howard. Good luck with that.
They won't start Will Howard this year.
No, but.
I'm just telling you guys.
We're starting Justin Fields, so.
I call you guys just past associates, so closer to than not. I've got
acquaintances.
I've gotten more out of Warren in 4 minutes than I've gotten out of you two yahoos in 14 years.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying. Like
that's fine.
Warren is just getting to the point of what I need to know. He and I can be friends.
So
see how easy that is?
I think maybe you surround yourself with a certain type of people, because I'm noticing a pattern here. Shane doesn't answer your questions. I don't answer your questions.
And he's a jerk to me.
Sautter doesn't answer your questions.
How about this dude with the sniper on Twitter the other day?
Oh, I didn't see it.
It's just about my feedback or me getting back to him over phone
Oh,
calls.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
You could have just texted me that.
Well, I just figured I would join the conversation.
Get while the getting's good.
Yeah. If you notice, and I don't know why, I just kind of have backed off of like personality.
On social media?
Yeah.
Yeah, you chill.
Yeah, just go do my job and that's it, right? That's probably about it. I mean, I don't know why I have. It's probably there isn't a reason. Yeah.
I got a question. I said something, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this is going to be accurate. On a job like this, you probably ought to give that thought before you say it. So on the heels of Nebraska signing Trae Taylor, I said Braylen Warren he will be the most highly coveted quarterback to come out of Nebraska. I think is undeniable.
At this point, yeah. I mean, yeah.
And he still has 2 more years.
Yeah, there isn't.
So we're talking like upwards of like 30 offers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
by the time we're done.
If he balls out this fall, because that'll be kind of the inflection point.
And he's gonna camp too.
So he'll camp well because he's got like physically can do whatever you want him to do. So if he camps well, which he will, and then he balls out this fall, that's where it's really going to
like what do you
go nuts?
What would you extrapolate for one Braylen Warren?
Oh, I mean
certainly a 4-star.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that's even a question.
Are we talking Carter Nelson, Christian Jones? Actually, Carter Nelson probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Septak maybe.
Septak was it was
my guy.
Not Septak, Steinkuhler.
Yeah, Banner Steinkuhler. Zach Potter was 4-star, highly coveted guy.
Steinkuhler was the highest rated. Steinkuhler, as far as recruiting service rankings, Steinkuhler is the highest rated recruit.
Only 5-star.
Yeah,
like consensus 5-star that Nebraska's produced.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not. Well, he could get to a 5-star.
I mean, Trae Taylor was like the only commit that could keep us from hand wringing over B, and he doesn't have a bigger fan than me that's not named Steve Warren.
Mm-hmm.
Or
I think you're. I'm trying to. There isn't a quarterback that's been as much as I'm a huge fan of Zane Flores, which hopefully he actually is healthy this year and plays.
They're losing quarterbacks.
Well, I think
2 more quarterbacks hit the portal, and
because they had like 8 of them. So like, I think the cream is rising to the top. So, and hopefully, last year, if people didn't know, it's so weird. Like, okay, Husker fans so weird with like kids that go out of state, and I don't get it. Like, Nebraska didn't offer Zane, but you still like when people talk about Zane, you still like to bash him. Nebraska didn't offer him. He didn't have a choice. Like, and now you're bashing him because he's been injured for 2 years. Like,
you did have a coach that came in and was going to crash his celebratory state championship party, though.
Right.
And at the last minute did not.
Yes.
Be inappropriate.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, and
Mel did say, Dad did say thanks, but no thanks. We're committed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, but there's people that are still bashing that kid, and it's weird. Like, he didn't have the option to choose you, really, like when he committed and all that stuff, like the summer, like kids normally do, didn't have the option. And then like, same thing with the Xavier Watts thing. I'm going to soapbox here. Sorry. Xavier Watts chose Notre Dame, not over Nebraska. That didn't happen. Like, that did not happen. He chose Notre Dame because Nebraska didn't think he could run fast enough. That's what happened. Like, that's the facts. That's what happened. He didn't choose to go somewhere else over Nebraska. That's not what happened. Like, I lived it. I was on freaking vacation, drove to Omaha to do a 3-minute interview with the guy, and drove back to vacation, like with my family. I know what happened. Like, and Nebraska fan the other night was talking crap about Xavier Watts, and it's like, bro, like that isn't the situation. He didn't choose Notre Dame over Nebraska. Nebraska chose to offer him, but at the end of the day, they weren't ever going to take it. So, like, what was he going to do? situations like that just drive me nuts. Like it just either I don't know. And maybe I am too much for kids.
No, it's not really that, because I used to say that and then I would feel bad. Like I don't want to make me seem like I'm a better person because I'm universally for kids. Some people are just more pro Nebraska than they are pro non-Nebraska. So I don't have any problems with that.
So here's where it is.
I just don't like the hoping the worst for a kid.
Yes.
But I don't have any problems with you couldn't care less about somebody that doesn't go to Nebraska though.
So here's where it is for me, and I'm sort of the opposite.
I know I'm different, but I that doesn't bother me.
I'm different, but for a different reason, because I'm not. I mean, you know me. I'm not pro kids necessarily. Like I want them to be treated well. I just, you know how.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want them to be mistaken, or I don't be like to be mistreated. I just don't want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
So my issue is I'm more pro Omaha and pro Nebraska the state than I am pro Nebraska the program. Like I want the state and my city to be represented.
Yeah, that's
well.
probably another camp, right?
That's what it is for me, because like if Watts goes out and balls out at Notre Dame, hell yeah, that's an Omaha guy. If Hunter Sallis goes out and balls out at Wake Forest, hell yeah, that's an Omaha guy. Like St. Thomas goes out and does his thing, or whoever else, right? That's an Omaha guy. I'm riding with those guys, right? That to me, I care more about that. Now, would I love those guys to play for the teams that I like? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I want the place I'm from to be represented well.
Thank you.
That's why I care about those guys doing well. Because I want more people, and this is where I'm a little bit pro kids, is I want more people to come to the state and recruit the next kid. Right? I want them to come to the state because Hunter's successful and Zane's successful and Xavier's successful and Teddy Rizek's successful.
Yeah, like
I want them to come back.
I'll cheer for that. I'll cheer for Amarion. Like I'll cheer for.
Yeah, there's a bunch of kids at Iowa State I'm going to cheer for, right? Raymer and whoever else. But part of it is, I want Nebraska and Omaha to be represented well. And the next part is I want the next generation of kid to have those same opportunities. And if you have a bunch of guys that come from Omaha or Nebraska and then flop other places, then the recruiters don't come back.
No, I will say, I will say this. I was a little disappointed, and I try not to tell people how to fan. I was a little bit disappointed in the responses to Jalen about Marty. But I also get that Jalen had a choice to not tweet it.
To not say anything.
Probably could have just not said something. Yeah.
But it's like I would tell him, that's one of your best friends.
Yeah.
Like you guys grew up together. If you wanted to publicly say that, I don't have any problems with that either.
He can be happy for his friend. That's fine. I think just the problem is fans are
and Jalen's not mad at him. He's not like that's the thing that was bugging me. It was like, guys,
it just didn't work out. Like
he's not cheering for Caleb or Tristan or
other
guys that are still on that roster. He absolutely is cheering for those guys. Like they love. You think Jalen isn't cheering for Teddy Rizek? Like he's cheering.
That people don't know the problem is 90% of the time don't know the personal relationships.
He was getting cooked.
Yeah, because he said great choice. Now, okay, here's where I don't. This is kind of my while we're on this topic.
I mean, it felt a certain way.
So, do you know why though?
It did.
Why? Do you know why I think he said it? Because, and I'm totally speculating. Because I think the family is in an immediately better spot. Like I think he's cheering for the situation, not so much the school.
Sure.
Right.
That's what I think that's my personal take on it.
And that's giving him the benefit of the doubt, which you know him better than most, so that's fair.
Yeah. Well, both of them,
to
be honest.
Yeah.
The one thing with this Marty Brown situation, Marcus Siegel got drafted too. He went to Kansas State. He also was at North Dakota State at first, and no one's mad at him for not going to Nebraska.
49er great, Marcus Siegel.
But you know what I mean? Like,
nobody talks about him.
God,
double standard. Like if we're not screw that kid because he didn't go to Nebraska.
Well, the day that Burke stomped a mud hole in us when we had to move that game to daytime because of the weather. And who's the wrestling phenom that ran for like 226 miles that day? Burks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like on that field, Burks, Siegel, Heinrich, Hickman, Watts.
I remember that game. It was
like on the field that day of guys playing was incredible.
So you want to know the double standard there, Mike?
Pretty sure they smacked you that day too.
Yeah, well aware.
You want to know the double standard, Mike, and it's the same thing we saw with Charmar Brown the first time around. When you're going to North Dakota State, we assume you're not good enough to play at Nebraska. Then when it comes back,
I don't think we believe that anymore.
I think there's still
there's a lot of people that believe that, and there's a lot of people
selling Nebraska and short. Stop.
I don't.
Stop.
I think people see FCS and they're like, I wasn't good enough.
What you just hit me with about Minnesota? And I'm like, hey, bro, look at the draft. Same way I feel about North Dakota State. They get more guys drafted than we do. And so you think we're thumbing our nose up at NDSU?
Do you want me to put a poll out there to see if people think Nebraska is more talented than Minnesota?
Do you want me to put a poll out there and say if we played North Dakota State 8 of the last 10 years that people don't think North Dakota State would beat us?
It'd be a 500
different question.
It is.
It's not.
Nebraska fans think they're more talented and think they would still lose.
It would be 5-5.
In so many games that we're more talented than teams.
No,
right?
we lose most of those games that we're more talented than teams. That's my point. That's why it's a different question.
North Dakota State versus Nebraska would have been 5-5.
Nebraska has an irrational reverence for North Dakota State.
I don't know. It seems like when high school
I don't know if it's the both. I don't know. Like the last 5 coaches there have won a national title.
I get that. For me, when it seems like guys are going there out of high school, we think like, oh, that's nice for them. Like when a kid goes FCS out of high school, that's the sense that I get.
Oh, that's fair.
I think it's like, oh,
I might not argue that.
So that's what it seems like. That's why we're not mad.
You said weird. You said it better the second time.
Well, like I got 3 hours, man. Give me a second.
We're out here. This is
like
what is that?
Give me a second. No, I think when a guy goes FCS out of high school from Nebraska, we're like, oh man, good for them. Nice job. We don't when they go to Illinois or somewhere else, another power conference out of high school, we go, oh, what the hell? How come Nebraska didn't get them? Like we don't view it as equals. We view it as like, oh man, they got a shot. Good for them. That's a good program. That's why I think it's different with Marcus Siegel versus Xavier Watts going to Notre Dame.
What do you think, Jerome?
Oh man, let me get myself in trouble.
You're a grown up.
That is because we can't think for ourselves. We, as in fans, etc., can't think for ourselves. We rely on people to tell you how good a player is and how good they're not without going and seeing for your own eyes. Even though those people haven't actually seen players with their own eyes too. So that is why you think players like Marcus Siegel, even though he had like an 8-pack and was built like a brick shit house in high school, but you never saw him play. So when he goes to North Dakota State or whatever, the punt, pass, and kick analyst has never seen the person play. So then you just believe that they're not good enough.
Dare I?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's a punt, pass, and kick analyst?
I think I know.
I've never heard that a day in my life.
It's the first time I've heard it referred to that way, but I think I know what he's talking about.
Jerome, what is a punt, pass, and kick?
People that just show up when it's convenient.
Camp watchers.
Yeah.
Camp watchers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Camp watchers as opposed to ball watchers, right? That's what we're
right.
talking.
Hey, let me tell you something. And like, I know you can't, everyone that does this job or whatever can't do this, but I went to 32 high school football practices last fall in 2 weeks. You know why I went? Not because I'm like, look at me, I'm waking up at 3:30 and driving to Columbus, Nebraska for a practice that starts at 5:30 in the morning. No, I did it because like, oh, I think there's a player over here. I want to go watch them actually practice and like in a team environment and do things like that. That's the reason why I go. So I know what the hell I'm talking about. Instead of, oh, I might watch one high school football game a year or two and act like I'm the expert. No, I fucking show up. Like, not that hard.
Jerome.
What? It's not. Like, just show up.
Yeah. So this is going to be an interesting cycle, right? Especially with like the numbers and the numbers game and whether you get things grandfathered in or not. And there's usually a guy or two every year that will get the dander ruffled. Safe to say this year and this upcoming season, it will be one Darian Jones.
Oh, why? I guess why did you say that?
Because I'm going to guess, like I said in the preseason last year, he's going to have a monster year.
Yeah. Oh.
And if he's healthy, he will do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And we will toss this thing around. Now, there are several candidates, right? There's
Bryson Williams.
Amarian Jackson. There's Bryson Williams has potential, but he doesn't have the offers yet. Right? So
Right.
I'm talking about the guys that have offers that we will hand ring about. He's got to be number one suspect, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair or true.
Jensen?
Hey, can I say something?
Good
Can I
one.
say
Now
something?
that's a good one.
I love Isaac Jensen, and I've said that for over a year now. I love Isaac Jensen. He catches everything. That dude is a dude.
He has more people to share with, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Darian is clearly
The guy.
the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The
And
North.
He
Yeah.
impacts everything.
Lots of phases.
Special team, yeah.
Hey guys, I would love to sit here and talk to you, but the water guy's here, and I gotta go turn the water on.
I'm glad you're gonna go be an adult. I appreciate you.
I'm normally an adult. Sorry, I soapbox hard today. God.
Oh, listen, I love it.
We love soapbox
because
Sautter.
I know your heart will feel better the rest of the day.
I'm just pretty passionate. I'm pretty passionate about things I believe in, and those are a couple things I believe in.
All right, man. I love you. You have a good rest of the day.
Hey, I will be in Fargo again. This is from Fargo Wrestling last June. So I'll be there again in June. Fargo Dome's actually not a dome, it's a building.
All right. I want you to go laugh at the guy when he's only there for 4 minutes.
And I paid him $100. Yeah. So what a racket this is.
I just
need a compressor. I do it by myself.
Yeah. I ate it too. But welcome to the club.
All right, bye.
That's Mike Sautter, Hurrdat Sports, NEBPreps, Soapbox Sautter on it today. We like it.
Thank you, dear baby Jesus.
Only 2 cuss words.
Yeah.
He was sitting on that though.
He was.
I should have known.
You lit the spark.
No, I didn't know. If you would have just said, what's the term you used? Camp, whatever.
Oh, camp watchers.
Yeah. Then I wouldn't have even let him go there. But I do feel like he will live at least another day longer, having not held that in.
Yeah, he needs.
I binged those up real quick.
He needs to release the pressure every now and then.
I want to be
I am
a little more professional.
I am surprised that a guy that does everything himself has not figured out a way to get his sprinkler system right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like I can talk. I told you he was there all of 5 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's a equipment issue. He probably doesn't have a compressor.
Got to keep water in the
like
bamboo.
the air compressor to blow out the.
You do that to shut him off, not to turn him back on.
Oh, what do you do to turn back on?
My man, he twisted the thing outside, and he put one thing inside parallel, so it ran along with the pipes.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then he went in the garage, and he checked my timers. He did a bunch of button pushing that I kind of know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Hey, do you want me to check the heads?" And I was like, "Sure." And he cycled through the systems, and he wasn't there more than 8 minutes. And we exchanged pleasantries too.
That's a good way to make a living.
Yeah. He asked me about that included small talk.
That included the small talk with the 8 minutes.
And him taking off his boots before he walked inside.
Hey, good on him. Appreciate that.
You made him take his boots off?
I didn't tell him anything.
No, sometimes they just do it.
Yeah, they just or they put on the little
booties. Yeah, the little.
Yeah, like I didn't tell him what to do.
No, I appreciate when they're considerate though. When they're like, "Hey, I'm just making sure, taking care of your floors."
Yeah.
That's nice.
8 minutes start to finish.
Man,
I didn't know whether I should be in. The guy that didn't even speak English that he brought with him was way faster than me. He just gave me a thumbs up. I'm like, I got to get better.
I'm gonna assume we're good then.
I need to get better. My man said bueno. I said okay.
Maybe you could job shadow him.
My guy said bueno, and I said okay.
I gave him a thumbs up back. That's what he said. I felt really dumb.
Está bien.
See.
See, Spanish. Look at you. That's DB. I'm Ravi. We'll be back more Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think it was a general team approach change and just mindset change. I think first you had to change the mindset to change the approach, and guys were, it was pretty much a rock bottom moment offensively. I mean, I kind of laid out the numbers for the group of hitters of like, hey, this is where we're at. I mean, and it wasn't pretty. It was, bottom of the barrel in Division I baseball. You get that kind of true eye opener there. It's like, all right, we know we got to do something different. So mindset first, and then approach, and then honestly, not a whole lot of like mechanical stuff. I mean, there's guys that we continuously are working with on some of that stuff, but I would say majority is approach wise, and we've taken a different approach to how we've run the offense too since then. I mean, it's been we didn't have any sack hits until the Pepperdine game, and that was that West Coast trip, and now you can see the bunting is a bigger part of our offense. So just I would say it starts with a mindset though.
It's huge. Having a coach like Danny who just has so much confidence in the team and so much trust in her players, it really inspires you as a player. And so even though there were nerves, it was also so much confidence going out there because we knew we had it in us, like Ryan said. And we all really brought that out of each other. And having a coach like Danny who's so supportive, not that coach wasn't, but who's just like so supportive and has just like that faith in the team, you can go out and play freely, just rip off the hinges. Not to go back to last year, but it just is a really good saying.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla, and I'm reminding you, make sure you go check out my friends over at Midlands Family Urgent Care. Give them a call, 402-810-9494. They've already helped me lose over 30 pounds, and they can help you out too. It's a quick and easy process. Go get a consultation, and if it's the right fit for you, you can get FDA-approved options to help you lose weight. It's 402-810-9494, Midlands Family Urgent Care. DB, I love when we're talking about something that neither of us know how to do, like start or blow out our sprinkler lines and things like that. And people are like, oh, it's so easy. You just do blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you know what's easy? Stuff you already know how to do.
I will say this, though. That's not where I thought you were going with that. But the last 2 years, I have told myself, I'm going to pay attention. And somehow it gets away from me.
Yeah.
But I think I do have it this time. Now, what I can't do because I don't have a compressor
is blow them out
blow them out when it gets cold.
To winterize them. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure if I don't have to adjust my sprinkler heads, I can now turn them back on.
Like, I've watched somebody change my spark plugs before. I can't change my spark plugs.
I think I could. I know I could. I just need to pay better attention.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I used to...
They're right, though. It's not hard. And I get they're like clowning me. It's fine.
Listen, that's the thing, though. So I know people don't really think this, but I used to do a lot of strength conditioning stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So I would write programs for college athletes and do things like that. Every once in a while, somebody would come to me just like a normie, so like not an athlete, and be like, hey, can you like make me a workout program? I'm just trying to get a little stronger or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I would put together this very simple program for them. And it's really easy for me. You know why? Because I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They weren't able to do it, even the most simple program, because they don't know what they're looking for. They're not like, so maybe sprinklers are a bad example because it really is that simple. But I just always think it's funny where it's like, oh, yeah, it's super easy. It's like, yeah, because you already know how to do it.
Yeah, I should. And I've tried to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Not sprinklers so much. That should be the easiest. I mean, I've tried much harder.
Sure.
Like, remember that whole garage debacle I had, Shane, where I couldn't open my garage? Like, I've used YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, like trying to fix the chain and whatever and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or how to put it on manual if something goes wrong.
You got to be careful with those springs, too, man. Those things will kill you.
What else? Relighting my pilot light.
Oh,
I've done.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes I get it. I need to be, at the end of the day, I just need to pay more attention because it's not that hard. And the dude was really funny, too.
Expertise is expensive, though. That's the thing.
Well, and you're not going to, I mean, kind of to your defense, you're not necessarily, I mean, because that type of stuff that you're saying is the one every 10 years, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, you're not going to remember you might do it the first time. You're not going to remember how to do it 10 years later.
You know something I'm really, really good at and I still want help with?
Mm-hmm.
Like how to cut up meat. I'm looking at this pricing sheet for a pig.
Dude, just get Natasha. She's got you.
And I still, I called the guy and I'm like, hey, he goes, hey, pig's down. What do you want to do? I'm like, hey, Jace, thanks for reaching out. I'm going to come across as a little weird when I call you, but I just need your help, okay? And he's like, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, I know what I'm doing, but sometimes I still want, hey, if you pre-smoke this, will it be this? Hey, if I get this ground down to this, will it taste like this? Some of those little nuances.
A little guidance.
I want guidance.
Here's the other thing. I'm very stakes dependent on whether I'll try to fix something or not.
Like, what's the risk?
Yeah, so I won't mess with any electrical or plumbing in my house because the risk of me doing that wrong is catastrophic. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hard pass. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a low risk situation, I'll bring up YouTube and be like, how do I do this? Right? Yeah, exactly. Risk versus reward, Justin. The risk of me messing up the electrical in my house is catastrophic.
Like, could you die or not?
Well, like, listen, if you wire something wrong, like, if you're trying to put in a new light or something and let's say you don't turn the electrical off to the right grid or something, then you can electrocute yourself, you can die. Like, that's dramatic. Or if you're like, hey, I just need to rewire this and run a wire here or there, if you do that wrong, you burn your house down.
Just don't do them both at the same time. You'll be fine.
This is crazy.
Like, or if you mess up with a plumbing thing, like you flood your house, you're talking about like tens of thousands of dollars worth of damage.
No, just try it in the basement. You'll be fine.
I guess like my equivalent would be like something teaching, like things that come naturally for me about or dealing with young people or
for you dealing with young people is the easiest thing in the world. For me, dealing with young people is actual torture. You're like, Ravi, no, you just have to be more patient. It's like, yeah, I don't know how to do that, DB. Like, that's the thing, right? Or somebody who's not familiar with dogs. Like, dealing with dogs is, you see me every time I'm around a dog, I'm like, oh, it's a little puppy. I'm great with dogs.
Can I pet
right?
that dog?
But there's some people that aren't great with dogs. And so they're like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I walk it? How do
and you look at them and you're like, why are you
You're
so
like,
afraid?
it's a freaking dog, man. Figure it out. It's not that hard. You know, but they're like, how much do I feed it? Does it need water all the time? Like, it's a dog. It's not that hard. But I know dogs, so it's easy.
Just think of the reward, though, if you figured out how to do it and you accomplish something like that you didn't think you were able to accomplish doing plumbing work or electrical work.
By the way, did you get your sink fixed?
Yes. No, not yet.
Damn.
And now I know it's okay. That's funny because it's a real simple little problem, and I could fix it, but it's not mine, so I don't.
Didn't your brother tell you how to do it?
Yeah, it's just a little. I'm not going to do it because it's not mine. I mean, there's a difference there. Living in an apartment versus a house. If it was a house, I already would have fixed it. But I've been waiting like 3 days for that.
I'm way more likely to do something in an apartment because that's not my stuff.
Yeah, but if you jack it up, then you're totally liable for it.
You're liable for your deposit. You move out and you say, peace.
You ain't going to get your deposit back anyway.
That's what I mean. So if you're not getting your deposit back, who cares?
My man, TK. Darian it must be a Husker. But they don't have their work cut out with that one.
Ken says, kids and dogs love me. Single women, not so much.
Is that Ken E?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's got jokes.
I'm not going to ask about married women. I
need to go back. I'll go back and be a punt, pass, and kick guy.
Camp watchers versus ball watchers. What do we got here?
Why did he just say that, though? I would have had to expound.
Because it was funny.
But then we would have got the single greatest drop out of that segment.
It was hey, just show up, man.
That's the gist of it.
We'll wait for Verge to fill in the next part. He's coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Well, I was an assistant when we started that. I don't even remember where we went, but I know it's far out of Western Nebraska. We played Colorado. But so I kind of know what to expect, and I know it's really special to the people in those towns, and they put on a show the night before and treat us like royalty. So I know it'll be a great time, and it's a way to just be really appreciative of what we have in the state of Nebraska.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Just seeing, guys like Craig Brester and Jason Powell, who were, 15 years ago, that are doing great husband, fathers, and they're in great professions. They're leaders in their professions, and just guys like Brandon Brown, all these guys that are killing it out there in life, and Jacob Klein. I could go on, and I'm just so proud of them, even Paul Donahoe. And so they're producing other great people and great sons and daughters. So I'm thankful for them joining our program. And just they're an inspiration to me.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Now let's find out what Matt Vrzal is better at. Telling stories or making pizza.
Matt.
Matt's an exceptional young man.
Matt Vrzal.
Happy birthday, Matt.
You know, Matt, he's a tremendous athlete.
Matt Vrzal.
Come on, Matt, I'm with you.
You know, like Matt Vrzal, you're one of the sexiest people in the world, but you're not one of the most beautiful. How did that happen?
Here is Matt Vrzal.
All right, Matt, thank you very much.
Wrapping up the show here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla. We're joined now by our friend Matt Vrzal, former Husker, owner of Piezons. What's up, Verse?
What's up, fuckers?
Yep, looking very convicty today. How are you? Real men wear black. How we doing, buddy?
I'm good, Arthur Ashe. How are you?
Well,
tennis jacket?
Oh, no. Arthur Ashe.
Looks like you just stepped off the courts at Wimbledon.
Okay.
Hey, did your Steelers sign Rodgers?
No, Matthew. They did.
Oh, your Lakers got booted too, and your Dodgers are hurt. Oh, hey, Damon.
This what you got out of the rack on, huh?
What's going on? What's going on with all these North Carolina
Arthur
guys?
Ashe was good. I'm going to give you Arthur Ashe. The rest of this, because I know why you said it too deep down, low key. You think you're funny, but you're not. I'm very funny. Just ask me. No, they did not sign Aaron Rodgers, and I would love to punch JJ Redick right in his face.
Dude, what was he doing?
I can't, but so I get the whole fitness and out of shape thing and championship caliber shape, but how about you nut up? Like, at no point outside of one heroic shot he hit in his NBA career has JJ Redick ever responded in crunch time. And you're over here talking about don't get me started back to the Duke days when he was clearly the best player one of the best players in the country.
Don't hate on my guy Adam Morrison.
And dude was going like 4 of 18.
Yeah.
So chill there. But like, how are you walked off the podium? You had a commentator before the game say, and it's Reggie Miller, who's nuts himself, said, I don't know, man. JJ's kind of squirrely. Like I don't know, maybe the moment's getting to him. And the best you could do is call out your players?
You can't, like, pre-production meetings. Those are kind of supposed to be like,
yeah, just chill. You're losing your mind in production meetings?
Now you got old North Carolina Tar Heels wanting to fight each other.
Oh, McCants is a wackadoodle, though. Matty, I
get you a crown, will you wear it?
How long have I not been riding with McCants?
Forever.
Like
but if I get you a crown, will you wear it?
Two guys in no. Stop. No. 2 guys in Carolina I cannot ride with. Rashad McCants, Joe Forte. I'll even come around on King Rice because he didn't do anything for me to dislike him. He just was way overrated. Forte
Raymond Felton wants to fight him.
Hey, listen, I'm just telling you too. Felton is not a fake tough guy. He may be fat,
no.
but he goes there, and he said, "Hey,
Man,
listen,
you are very judgmental. How dare you call Raymond Felton fat?
He's a chubby point guard.
Listen,
he's no Khalid.
He could have glandular or thyroid issues. You're a dick. That was a dick statement.
I'm not gonna sit for this. I'm just telling you, like, I don't know what you're on. How are you just gonna drop Richard on me?
You called me a criminal, and I'm on edge because I got some homeless guy threatening girls that work for me, and then girls that work at Abelardo's. So now I gotta had to get a ban and bar. Had to get a ban and bar issued against that guy.
Is it old boy on the corner that kind of just walks through the parking lot area?
Yeah, and by the way, all you dipshits that complained because you think homeless people should be able to occupy the median to panhandle, you're morons. Because I called the city council first, or whomever, the hotline, mayor's hotline, whatever. I was like, hey, I need one of them signs that says it's unlawful to occupy this median. You can't do this. And the guy, super cool guy on the phone, like little buddy was awesome. He goes, oh, yeah, we've already determined what intersections those are. We picked the 30 busiest. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me Industrial and Bob Boozer isn't in the top 30 in Omaha for busy intersection? And he goes, oh, that's a great point.
I was pretty busy.
Huh.
So I get it.
Get a real body.
People get down on their luck. I get it. You're on hard time. You yell at me all you want. My employee who is sitting in her car doing nothing, don't yell at her. And then don't tell the little gal at Abelardo that you want to F her. Like, don't say that to her.
Wow.
Because next to my employees, they're the next closest thing to my people.
And those are your yeah.
You're in the wrong spot. So if you're on 133rd and Bob Boozer and you see a homeless guy on the median, do not give him money. He's got an awesome dog. We, as a group at Piezons, would like to commandeer his dog, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that.
Why would you take the man's dog? It might be
Well, because I got a ban and bar, so now if he comes near it, we're getting him arrested. So that's where we're at in the exercise.
I mean, if he gets arrested, you might be able to take the dog.
Well,
I don't think the dog goes to prison with him, right?
And who's taking care of the dog?
That's what I'm saying.
Tracy Connor?
It's going to go to Humane Society, and we're all kind of in agreement. Once it goes there and it gets its shots, then we'll probably go snag it.
You've already thought this out. That's kind of scary.
No,
Arthur Ashe, though? I'd rather be a Richard than Arthur Ashe.
Why? Arthur Ashe was awesome at tennis. Is the trend like a trailblazer? That was a compliment. You're welcome.
The glasses? Not a big glasses guy?
That's not why he said it. It's clearly not why he said it.
I thought he kind of looks like a Tennessee jacket. I get it.
You riding with
him?
him?
It's a Tennessee jacket.
You riding with him?
No, I know what he's doing. I'm trying to make it better.
For a minute there, I saw that said Fila on there. I thought your jacket said Fila, but then I remembered you're a Nike guy.
I hadn't been, though. I just started bringing my Nike stuff back out.
You're bringing Nike back.
I'd been kind of pro Adidas for a while.
Yeah.
I'm still pro.
Hey, by the way, you guys need Aaron Rodgers. Not gonna lie.
You know how I know your Cubbies knocked Skeen's brains out yesterday. They can freaking rake, so you're happy about that. The Bears are putting together a nice little bomb squad, so you're happy about that. The Blackhawks still rot, but
bad.
They'll be
They're
fine.
Bad.
So you're just gonna go in on the Steelers quarterback situation?
No, I already told you I hate Caleb Williams, but you're my friend, and I would like your teams to do good, and they're not. I don't want you to live through what I have to live through, Damon. Look at
am I useful to you?
Look at my teams. Nebraska. All due respect, outside of volleyball, very mediocre at everything.
And track and field. And bowling.
Yeah, that too. And soccer, women's sports. We actually should get more credit for being so pro women's sports. Like, we are good at gymnastics. We're good at women's sports. Like, we should get more accolade for that. The Cubs, you know how I am. I just got to calmly watch this and quell my excitement.
They're good.
I will. When you get over here, I will slap you. Don't say they're good. Don't say they're good, because then they're going to go in the tank.
I don't get.
And everybody's going to get hurt. And the Dodgers, this is great for the Dodgers. I know you got guys hurt. They're still going to make the playoffs. And then they're going to get all the hurt guys back, and then they're going to sweep everybody. The Bulls, terrible. But I want them to somehow throw the bag at Giannis. And then, like, yeah, let's do this. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Bears, Caleb Williams going to screw this up. He just
listen, as much as you hope I get Rodgers, I hope Caleb Williams is all that and then some. So you at some point have to come around.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes. Now we're on the same page. Because what he's going to do is he's got 3 dudes in the middle that are going to give him all the time in the world. His dumb ass is going to start scrambling around. And
Matt, he was good last year. Why are you so down on him?
He wasn't good.
Yes, he was.
He was slow on the ball. He had a lot of, statistically, yes, you're right. He had a lot of yards, but it was a lot of dumb shit that he did. He scrambles around. He sees ghosts. There's pressures that that's true. There's pressures he runs out of that are not there. Do not tell me any different.
All right. I won't. I won't tell you any different.
Tell you what.
I want to be a rich.
Tell you what.
What?
You call your boy Mike Tomlin sitting there and have him call Ryan Pace. We'll send his ass over to you. You can deal with it. And we'll take Aaron Rodgers.
We'd win yesterday with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, good luck.
We'd mess around and be in the Super Bowl.
I wish you all the best. Like I said, I want you to be successful. But
you don't. I'm no good to you when I'm happy because you make it so I'm not.
When do I not go out of my way to make you happy?
Your mere existence most times.
You're welcome.
What kind of question is that?
I always go out of my way to make you happy. You're just sometimes kind of a Richard.
Oh, now I'm back to Richard. 10 minutes ago, I was Van Dyke. That's cool.
Well, you got your little gold thing on there in your jacket. Look like you just got done with Wimbledon.
Did you say Wimbledon?
Wimbledon.
Really?
I was laughing at how he said Wimbledon.
No. I said B. Wimbledon.
I'm done. Anyway, Matt?
Yes, David.
So this is kind of a legit question. Are you like gonna answer it, or are you gonna be purposely obtuse?
Depends.
God,
go ahead though.
At least honest,
right? Wait, what did you think of Lutovsky last year, and kind of what do you see his ceiling as? Because I'm kind of on the Lutovsky hype train, and I want to know if I need to come off or not.
No, you don't. I think it depends. The part that I liked from the day that I was there was he was taking that leadership role. Okay, like I said before, you told a story that had the same thing. Rilla was getting pissed. Lutovsky then just said, "Hey, you guys better get your shit together." And he was kind of cussing at him, and I was like, "Okay, we got a guy." Now, where they were playing him that day, I'm not a huge fan. He needs to be inside so he can pinball bodies around, because the things that, in my opinion, that he still needs improvement on are foot speed, and then making sure he understands that once his nose gets out past his toes, people will pull you through. You're not stronger than everybody. You're very strong. You're very, very strong. But they'll pull you through. They'll get rid of you. They'll be able to defeat you. But I liked where he was at. I just like him. Like if I'm Raiola, it's big buddy from Alabama, Lutovsky, my guy Evans Jenkins, Rocco, and Teddy.
Yeah, if they could find a way to play Lutovsky, Evans, and Spindler as guard, center guard.
Yeah.
Fudge.
That's your best bet.
I mean, you talk about moving people.
Yeah. And okay. So games are won when you control A's, right? When you control the A gap on both sides of the ball, you're gonna win.
Is there some state championship joke reference in here that you're getting to? Because
no.
Okay.
I already told you guys should have run that A gap play again, and you told me to mind my own effing business. So
I didn't cuss.
Oh yeah, you did. You said mind your own cocksucking business. And I haven't even brought up the going on at fourth down on your own 28. I haven't brought that up yet because I'm a nice person.
Can I just tell you though? Can I just tell you something?
Yeah.
That's the only time I clicked over to the offensive side of the ball. I asked Coach Queen on defense. I said, hey, we're leaking oil. What do you think? He's like, I'm for whatever. Ask Craig. Craig, do you have a play 4th and 2? We're leaking oil. We got to find a way to quell the momentum. He said, yeah, I got something. Okay, play got signaled in wrong. We had to eat it. Man, that's how that went.
What about fake punt?
Don't really.
Nobody's thinking about it there.
We don't really do that.
Nobody's thinking about it at your own 28.
Yeah.
Because when it was all going down, it's like, this motherfucker's going to fake a punt. I was like, this is what he's going to do.
This conversation went downhill in a hurry.
Came
I don't
offsides.
know why
Okay.
you brought that up.
Back to my point.
Okay,
control the A gaps. You control up the middle in baseball. Pitcher, catcher, short, second, center field. You win. You control the middle in basketball. By the way, NBA, dumbest sport in the world. Control the middle. You win.
Dude.
Hockey. You control the middle. You win. Hockey, awesome.
How good is that Avs Star series?
Oh, man.
I mean, the Jets and the Blues are the next best, but I mean, look, like this is legit.
And this next round is going to get real weird.
Yeah. I picked Dallas before the season started, before their whole team estimated.
Nice.
But I don't know, man. The Panthers look tough.
Yeah, I got rats everywhere on that. You got a Kachuk. You got Marshawn. You got Bennett.
Yeah, I mean,
definition of head on a swivel. Like, okay, boys, when you get on the ice, just head on a swivel.
Yeah, they enjoy, like, they embrace
Annoying.
that role too. That's a good, and they got championship pedigree.
You got Tom Wilson legally leveling people.
You skate through the neutral zone with your head down if you want to.
Dude, there was a second that I was like, oh my God, he just killed that guy.
Oh.
That guy's dead.
When his shoulder was like 6 feet away from his neck.
When his shoulder went into his sternum and the guy's shoulders hit each other.
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the body's supposed to snap like that.
It
They put it in
skates away.
slow-mo. Like, you can't even put your body in, like, that position.
Have you ever skated, Damon?
Yes, and I hurt like
Ravi, have you skated?
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. It's really hard. It's really,
I
really
didn't
hard.
say you're good. I said, have you skated?
Yes, I have.
Jeez.
So have you played hockey, Benny?
No.
I bet you'd be good.
What? Why are you going to the last name thing? You're getting worse by the second.
Why
The
do you
frick
care?
is Benning? This ain't education where they call everybody by their last. Like, what are you doing?
All right, ass hat.
All right, Shane, cue the music.
Verz, I got an offer for you.
Okay.
So you said you wanted to get Giannis to Chicago. I was on
Yeah.
the NBA trade machine. I was figuring it out. I can get you Giannis, but you have to take on Damian Lillard's contract as well, in or out.
I get them both?
Yeah, Lillard just.
Yeah,
tore
but
his
you're not going to
Achilles.
get Lillard to play. You're just going to own.
You
the
just have to eat the contract basically because he tore his Achilles. He's
He's
going to
sit out.
I know he tore his Achilles.
Well, you know, okay. I just want to make sure.
I ain't doubting Dame Lillard.
All right.
He ain't going out like that.
I wouldn't doubt Dame at all.
Bet.
Dame Benning.
Take it.
All right. I'll call it into the office.
Can you call me Dame from here on out? No. Hey, Dame. No.
DB.
Are you open for lunch?
Nope. Catering. I think we only got 2 more left. I don't think they have lunch the last week of school. I think they just got finals. I only got to do this one more time.
Let's pretend like you don't not know. You know.
I don't.
I'm going to need some freezer space too, by the way. Appreciate you. Thanks. Smaller.
So, like, your child uses the word please begrudgingly. Your wife, one of the more well-mannered people around, says please.
It's all relative.
And you just assume. Like your sons both say please.
After this segment you had,
don't.
I couldn't muster it. I'm
Your
sorry.
beautiful mother,
No.
you don't bring into Piezons, which is rude.
No.
She says please.
Incorrigible. That's what you are.
I miss Benny.
Goodbye, Matthew.
Verz, have a good weekend.
Hey, gentlemen.
What?
Thank you fuckers for having me on.
It's always a pleasure.
No, it's not. It's not a pleasure.
That's Verz.
The freaking guy blows. God.
I'm just saying, I think eating the Dame contract is a bigger deal than he thinks.
I think he meant Wimp, as in Wimbledon.
I heard a Wimbledon.
He tries to play.
We got a P and a T in there that do not exist.
Yeah.
It's a Wimpleton.
I'm over it.
It's like, have you seen that clip? The guy, it's like, hey, let's get some Tupperware, and he's like, what do you say?
Yeah.
Tupperware?
Exactly.
Tub with a B? No, wrong.
Friggin'
Wimpleton. I'm just saying. I don't know if I want to eat $54 million on a torn Achilles on a 35-year-old. You get Giannis though. I did figure it out.
He'll be in Los Angeles.
You think Giannis?
Yeah.
He's going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Okay.
All right. What, you want to put a bet on this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Dude, you talk about not having good odds.
I'd have to juice it a little bit for you.
Fudge.
Well, it's 10:05. Shane's head's going to explode if we keep talking.
I know.
So that's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla. We will be back on Monday. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.